Mm.
Welcome to the Swine Brothers Show 168 for March 7th, 2019. That was a disappointing intro. You can email us at cosmicgodsdie at gmail.com. Facebook is Swine Brothers, and Twitter is, as always, Swine Bros 666. You can hear me, you can see me rip on various racing drivers. I am your ever gluttonous host, Elliot Lindemood. I have two calls and one with a new microphone. New mic guy, introduce yourself.
I am the Jim. This thing hurts.
I'm just kind of sad that because his old microphone acted really weird on Skype, and I'm sad I didn't get a long-term recording of his robot voice. And you, laughing person, what is your name?
And I'm Dan Amanda, and I have a head cold, so I sound fucking weird.
No, Jim sounds weird.
Oh,
Everything about it is weird. So you see, I told you we'd be back, and we're back in a week after doing two shows in 1 week. So we're getting back into it, people.
Yay.
Episode 200 by the end of this year, which we should have gone about 2 years ago, but whatever.
Mhm.
Anyway, what's on
I shall try my best.
what's on the menu tonight?
Steam is in the rape fantasy business.
Oh no.
Aren't we all though? By the way, forgive me, audience. I'm eating a version of gumbo.
Mm.
Upcoming visual novel highlights the problems with Valve's refusal to apply content standards to its storefront.
Wait, what?
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't.
How
think
is
they
that a
should-
problem?
I don't think
They
should
sell
apply-
mature games. Is that a problem?
Mm-hmm. According to this
Apparently
person.
for this person.
Just put an 18-year-old filter on it, and you can whatever.
Well, yeah.
It's only Tuesday, but it looks like this week's big controversy will be once again Valve's utter lack of interest in applying any sort of reasonable standards to its storefront.
Once again. Oh no.
The game encapsulating the lack of interest this time is Rape Day. Oh God, that sounds like Boink the Destroyer come to PC.
That's a wonderful name for a horrible game, I'm sure.
Happy Rape Day to you. Happy Rape Day to you.
Mm.
An upcoming
Let's hear what it's about.
Hmm?
I said, let's hear what it's about.
An upcoming self-published visual novel from a developer calling itself Desk Plant.
Okay.
It's Desk Plant.
Yeah, it's fine.
Billed as a game where you can rape and murder during a zombie apocalypse.
As one does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It also features necrophilia, incest, and until recently, infanticide.
Hmm.
Oh, they took that out, muff.
Yeah, they took
Yeah.
out the infanticide. Come on, we need baby eating contests.
Why
says-
is it? No, why is it that I mean, it's funny because like Cannibal Corpse, I think it was Vince Locke was talking about. You know, Vince Locke is the cover artist for Cannibal Corpse, and he's talking about once you write draw about killing people, and that's fine, but once you get children into it, it's blah 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 blah.
Because people get really fucking butthurt about kids getting hurt.
But it's imaginary. You're not
Yeah,
actually out
but
there killing
even
kids.
if it's imaginary, people still get upset. Trust me, I'm a mother. I
know.
understand.
I talk to
And
people.
yes, I don't feel the same as those people who get super outraged about that kind of stuff, but honestly, it is really distasteful to include infanticide unless you're dealing with, like, I don't know, Amazon tribal fucking whatever.
Okay, I mean, if I had
or
kids,
North Sentinel Island crap,
if I had kids,
Infanticide is entirely a no-go. It's like cannibalism. You just don't go there.
if I had kids, I would.
Yeah,
not
you would
want anything-
probably understand.
I would not want anything to happen to them, but I would still laugh a lot.
Yes, but how many
I
people
licked
did we
baby
eat? How many people did we eat in New Vegas, Elliot?
700, I think it was.
I said probably.
Okay,
I'm not assuming that Elliot is not going to be wanting to eat his children.
If I had kids, no doubt I wouldn't want anything to happen to them. But look, I have dogs. Does that mean I'm not going to watch movies where dogs get killed? I mean, I have people who do that, but it's like it's an imaginary. I mean, I still think "I Let Your Baby on Fire" is the funniest fucking song ever. sorry, "I Let Your Baby on Fire."
Look, I totally understand
It was
that
louder
the
for 30
"Oh my
seconds.
god, what the fuck" barbecue in The Sims 2 was absolutely the most funniest thing that I had ever fucking seen.
I mean,
just grab a baby, throw it on the grill. We're eating
Cook
baby
those
tonight.
babies. You don't need them. But seriously, that's fake. And
I understand
some people take it a lot more seriously. So yeah.
The developer apologetically noted in an update that the infanticide scene was cut to avoid having the game banned from the store for child exploitation.
How
I
is
Let Your
that
Baby on
exploiting
Fire
a
was louder
child?
for 30 seconds, and then it shut up. And then
Because you're pretty much doing anything with a kid that isn't, cute and innocent.
Were they selling them for money?
Cold whenever you set babies on fire.
Tim, how many times have I yelled at you about the annoying Mick and Ralph's kid from Fallout New Vegas? Kill him!
Mm-hmm.
Kill him! I mean, I look at it the same as I look at it in real life. In real life, I'm not going down the street with chainsaws murdering people yet. Give me about 3 more of these stories.
The About This Game section on the Steam store page sells the player fantasy, saying, control the choices of a menacing serial killer rapist during a zombie apocalypse. Verbally harass, kill, and rape women as you choose to progress through the story. It's a dangerous world with no laws. The zombies enjoy eating the flesh off warm humans and brutally raping them, but are you the most dangerous rapist in town?
Well, it sounds more interesting than the thing you were showing me last night, Racial Holy War.
Oh, God, that was pathetic.
That was...
I was sitting there looking at the game mechanics. It's like, dude, what? There's nothing here other than there's no role playing. It's just stats for things to kill, and that's it. And it wasn't even like good. And the sub races were dumb and moronic and infantile and filthy.
And foul, and yeah, it was just...
It's like there was no thought in it. It's just like, here's another insult, and that's a sub race.
Vargas or some Nazi would look at this and go, wow, this looks like a 12-year-old.
Mm-hmm. And here it was the head of a church that put it up.
Really?
Yeah, it was like one of the heads of like one of the whitey-white churches that's all whiteness, all the white.
The creator.
Something like that.
Whitey whiteness.
Whitey whiteness, white.
Whitey whiteness.
Whitey white. There's got to be someone named Whitey.
Yeah, like you regained hit points from reading the Book of Whiteness. It's like the White Bible. It's
called the White Man's Bible. Get it right. Yeah. There's got to be someone out there named Whitey White. If you know someone who is named Whitey White, please get in touch.
Oh God.
There was a racing. There was a racing driver, and this is probably a nickname, but his name was Blackie Black.
Deskplant states it's for a niche audience. If it's not your type of game, you definitely don't need to play it. Yeah. But as others have said, I tried to make a game that I would enjoy playing. And there are other people like me. 4% of the general population are sociopaths. I doubt you are. You sound like a tryhard, but that's okay. And the type of people that would be entertained by a story like this is not even limited to pure sociopaths.
Okay.
It just seems to me like people getting You're never gonna play it. No one has ever heard of this game. No one has ever heard of these people. It's
But
like
because there's outrage against it, people are going to flock to buy it wherever they can find it.
people are
They'll
gonna
go
I
to
mean,
a
I'd
web-
probably play it. I mean, just because. I mean, it sounds interesting.
I
I
hear it's
tend to
only
do things because
7,000 words of
people.
text.
Well, I tend to do things because people say, "Well, you shouldn't do that," and I'm like, "Why not?" Because writer, and all that whatnot. So I mean,
I mean,
what the
all you,
shit?
all you well, the thing is, and I hate to draw this up, and to quote, there's a comedian I like named Steve Hughes, who's also the drummer for Slaughter Lord. And he made the point that if you get offended, nothing really happens to you. It's not like I saw this video game and then I
No.
woke up and I had AIDS.
First thing that comes to mind here is Valve's content policy for Steam, which it proclaimed last year would allow anything except for things we decide are illegal or straight up trolling.
Well, that's very specific.
And yet vague with the trolling.
That's every
Yeah.
company. It's every company ever, though. There's got to be some standards, especially in this day of anything controversial is then Steam doesn't want the backlash. Although, of course, if it was me, I'd embrace it. But whatever.
It presents a lose-lose situation for Valve. In the case it permits Rape Day to sell on Steam, which I think it's been taken down, Valve risks pushing away anyone with aspirations of respectability or mainstream acceptance. Here we go with mainstream acceptance bullshit again.
Why would you want? Wait! Stop!
Why?
Why do you think that this game will ever be accepted by mainstream? That's like a black guy saying, "I want to be president of the Ku Klux Klan."
Do AAA publishers of the world want to sell their game on a storefront that proudly hosts rape fantasies as a matter of principle? This is pretty much talking about, your EA games, your Activision, and other big companies like Squaresoft, Square Enix.
Guilt by association, basically.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to pull here. And it's like, well, no one would have even known about this. I mean, my whole entire hypothesis is someone sent them a link from a dummy account, and that's what started the outrage, because no one would have found this otherwise.
Fine. If you want extreme, I'll go extreme. I bought a dissection record at Amoeba. Dissection is a openly satanic band. My sister bought a Cher tape, I think it was, at Amoeba. Does that mean Cher supports Satanism? I mean, that's the logic that we're going to now. This is the idiotic logic. Okay, there are controversial titles or whatever. Put a bunch of warnings that said, basically, this is for 18 years or older if you're easily offended by whatever, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now that those pussies are gone, it's Rape Day. Sorry.
And in the case Valve prevents the game from ever launching, it probably makes the more pragmatic decision from a profitability standpoint. But it still takes a hit to its reputation for allowing the game page to go up in the first place.
Does it?
But
I mean,
you got to have such an absolutist mindset where, like, you can't separate anything from anything. And you probably shouldn't even be playing a video game because you can't even distinguish fantasy from reality.
Yeah, that's if you can't distinguish, if you can't distinguish fantasy and reality, you probably shouldn't be playing a game or listening to rap or you shouldn't be listening to rap anyway.
Valve loses standing with those upset it would make a business out of rape fantasy games, as well as those upset it would curtail creative expression. So in other words, they're saying, as long as you appeal to this crowd, you're going to lose. So just stop appealing to them.
I just don't. Okay, yes.
Don't appeal to the overly sensitive crybabies.
Yes, it's an offensive game with offensive content. I get this. Even I get this.
Shit has happened well before our lifetime, though.
But there comes a time when you've just got to basically say, you know what? If you don't want this, don't buy it. Go somewhere else. Go play a baseball game or something. You don't have to get Rape Day if you don't want to. I mean, I don't like rap. Do I want all rap to go away forever? No, if you want your shitty music, go listen to Little Dave or fucking whatever the
people are clearly embracing freedom of speech as a core value. Something Valve even pointed to when it announced its content policy, saying the games we allow onto the store will not be a reflection of Valve's values, beyond a simple belief that you all have the right to create and consume the content you choose.
Some people like violent games. Some people like to go down the street murdering everyone. Again, does that mean does that mean after playing Fallout for 6 hours, does that mean I'm taking up a chainsaw and going on the street and killing people? No, it means I'm going to bed. Because that's what I do. I'm a lazy sod.
Right.
The statement would be more accurate if we replaced a simple belief with an overriding belief. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun.
It's nothing more than a declaration of priorities. Valve prioritizes the freedom to create and consume content of your choosing to the exclusion of all other values it might have. It sells video games.
That's the only value that you need to have.
Okay. It sells video games, meaning you have to value creative license, and the only way you can value that is by letting people do whatever the fuck they want.
Jim, you don't like country.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean nobody should be allowed to listen to country ever?
I don't like country either.
Yay. We all agree country sucks.
Just don't do it around me. Go ahead and go to your...
No, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't like it myself.
Go to your house and listen to whatever. Just don't do it around me. If you don't want this offensive game, don't buy it.
Exactly.
Leave it alone. It'll leave you alone.
Set your Steam preferences to let you see something that isn't that.
Permitting Rape Day on the storefront isn't a statement that Valve believes rape is a societal good and should be promoted as such.
Oh my God.
Even the game stated that, like, you're a sociopath. That's not a societal good. Almost made
me choke on iced tea, by the way. Thank you.
Oh, fuck, this is the best part.
Jim's trying to kill me.
Yes.
Oh, no, you're going to love this next part.
It's just that Valve cares about helping interactive rape fantasies reach as large an audience as possible, more than it has an opinion of any kind about rape. This article's making
I've written interactive rape fantasies.
I know people who have these sort of fetishes, but it's consensual.
Oh, dear God.
No, I've literally written rape scenes. I've written tons of rape scenes. What the fuck? Am I now to blame for this?
Yes, you're to blame for this.
Yes, we've got all that internalized misogynies or some bullshit, because, there has to be some sort of weird thing going on for a woman to do such a thing, even though...
I believe the term is... I believe the term is now reverse misogynist.
Oh.
Meaning you're a woman and you hate yourself.
Oh, I guess I do.
I hate myself.
That's a very bad revelation. I think I should go ahead and remark on that. I don't know.
It's completely idiotic, but like I said, so we
I was literally just writing shit from a point of view that I thought I understood. If somebody took away from that, that's great. If not, I'm sorry that my writing didn't do you good.
This is why Grand Theft Auto could never be made today.
The refusal to apply any kind of values to content moderation and community management certainly does protect people's right to free speech, but it also turns your platform into a cesspool overflowing with people whose speech is not welcome anywhere else in society.
Well, yeah, it's not welcome anywhere else because you didn't give them a voice, and so unfortunately, they'll go to wherever they do get a voice. But I don't really see anything wrong with this game. I mean, I'm listening to your description, and it sounds a bit of offensive, quote unquote, but I don't really see anything really wrong with it.
Sounds like it's pathetic, but it might reach some people's fantasies about being raped and killed during a zombie apocalypse.
And even
There
if
was
he's
a
not,
game called Rape Play, which was
Sounds to me like fucking parents need to actually take care of what their kids are watching.
well, the game was pretty much you run around and you just like fondle women and take off their clothes. From what I've seen,
Yeah, I've watched animes like that.
there was another game where you
and
went
most
to
of the people I knew that actually owned the game were women, so they
Right?
actually were enjoying the fantasy.
Well,
Thinking,
shit,
I
I
wish
play a
someone would
lot of
do this to me.
Mm-hmm.
the,
No, I play a lot of those kind of games. So
there's another game where you go into a hospital and have sex with women in comas.
Mm.
I remember when I first met you. That's Ed Gein's car, brain dead baby. I post whenever someone's in a coma, just to be a dick.
That one is just. Oh no!
I've
Yeah,
crossed.
no, that's my limit. I'm sorry.
I've crossed the line. I'm happy.
No, that's just my limit, man. I'm not gonna have sex with somebody in a fucking coma. What the fuck?
Oh yes, it was so hot in that coma.
The kind of free speech worth protecting has plenty of other outlets it can pursue in our industry and our world, ones that don't serve to normalize and amplify humanity's many failings.
Because Jim, as we all know, everyone who played Grand Theft Auto went out and murdered someone.
That's right.
Oh
God.
shit! I'm behind the bar.
Yay, we haven't killed everyone yet.
I played Fallout. Well, see, they're right because I played Fallout New Vegas, so I started eating people because that's how these people's minds work. Apparently, is
Well, this is the failure of polite society because, oh my God, that's disgusting. People do those disgusting things. Fuck the underclasses. Oh my God, poor people are born poor and going to die poor. They live poor lives.
But it's just I watched the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre and yes, because people act out everything they see in movies and TV. That's why I'm going to fart now, everyone.
As a journalist, I'm a big fan of free speech. I haven't seen that yet, and throughout the entire argument you've made, it's pretty much solid that you want censorship.
This reminds me of the South Park movie where they light their farts on fire because Terrence and Phillip did.
Yes, like free speech for the points you agree with. If it's something you disagree with, then you have to destroy it.
Yes, free speech for all the points.
Read the whole paragraph. As a journalist, I'm a big fan of free speech. I built my livelihood on it. But one of the first things this field taught me is that rights carry with them responsibilities.
Yeah, I get it. People are stupid, but there's an easy way you can keep it out of kids. I mean, we live in. I hate to do current year things, but we do live in 2019. There are ways you can keep this game out of kids' hands.
This person is basically saying that they have built their livelihood on being a fucking social justice warrior.
Although I do think 16-year-olds who have never seen a girl are going to be the target market for this.
Oh, God.
Let's see what they say about their responsibilities they expect from us talking. Our responsibility is something like go to work, provide for your family, raise kids, anything along those lines.
I say things without thinking all the time.
Go to jury duty if you register to vote.
Ditto. Wait, I'm not registered to vote.
I have ways to get out of jury duty. Fuck that. I'm not serving.
I'm psychotic. Murder should be a $50 fine. Jaywalking is death penalty.
Wait,
There's far too many people in this world.
Death, but all he did was jaywalk.
Free expression is a powerful thing, but you have to be thoughtful about how you exercise that power. You're not.
Actually,
this entire article is just like, I'm going to just go crank out robotic nonsense without thinking.
Actually, Jim, you have it backwards for jury duty. He's not guilty, but he killed 15 people. He even confessed. Nope, not guilty.
Yep.
Let him off.
That free expression shit is absolutely terrible, because that gives every Tumblr user a free ride as far as do what you need to make it count. That kind of shit.
We see what platforms like Steam seek to do when they value free speech above all else is to give themselves permission to be thoughtless.
Again, if you don't like this game, don't play it.
Does everything in life have to be thought-provoking?
I mean, it sounds like it's small enough where you'd have to be looking for it to find it.
Also, the internet will always have an opinion on it.
It's hilarious what the internet will find. Dimmu Borgir said something vaguely Nazi-esque in 1991 when they were like 14 years old.
They hate on you like it happened yesterday, even though it was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, it is amazing what the internet will find, which is why I just say all my Nazi stuff out in the open. That's a joke. Everyone.
To not think about where they'll draw the line. Don't. You say something, go ahead. You do.
Yeah, I personally find it repugnant, but whatever.
If I were to draw the line saying that this person couldn't voice their opinion on my platform, then, that'd be less people that they'd be making money off of. But they don't like to think like that. This is just robotic response.
But, yes, they do think like that, Jim. And they'll say, well, then they value making money over blah, 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 blah.
That's why capitalism is evil, people, because, the market decides what it wants, not you.
Let me just, if you draw the line at something, then it's not free speech. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between a video game talking about and actually showing a rape and a fucking actual novel doing the same damn thing?
Well, I mean,
they'd probably come after you for that because, oh my God, think of the trauma.
They won't, because it's free speech.
I have ideas in Pathfinder now that I didn't have before that would make people piss themselves. So thank you.
This pisses me off because in video games, they hit on video games so much more because video games promote violence and all that whatnot.
So you
whatever, man.
More violence and things in a video game than you put on TV, which I think is
no.
I mean, Amazon's been actively taking down books off their service.
Oh, fuck. Well, I guess I can't publish on Amazon anymore.
I
have read a ton of books that included not necessarily rape scenarios, but things that were extremely uncomfortable sexual assaults. And those were books that I read in my lifetime that were considered publishable. So what the fuck is going on?
All this is going to lead to is all this is going to lead to is the far right coming to power even more than they are now, and turning America into basically a Nazi state. Because
they're laying the groundwork. They're working. The far left is working so hard to just lay the groundwork so the Nazis can just straight up take over.
And
if you look at the policies being proposed now, it's shit that would flat out bankrupt us, cause rampant inflation like the gods have seldom seen in this country.
Well, not only that, but just
ever.
we're so worried about normalizing this and microaggression that and blah 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 blah. Oh, we're not going to notice the jackboots until it's too late because they're so worried about he's normalizing that. Why are they storming the White House?
Oh well, the fun part's this too. You realize that a lot of this moral purity trying to push these bad things like we can't have a game about rape out there is exactly what the far right says as well. They hate this game too.
Yes, I know they say.
The fun part is that we can't have this without that.
The fun part is that in the 80s and 90s it was Republicans and fake Democrats like Tipper Gore or whatever who were after Satanism and metal and rap makes you kill your families and all that.
Rap. Oh man.
Whereas country music got free. But
now you got people saying, it's all the left doing it now, and you see a lot of that. But the Republicans signing on.
The left were on the side of freedom of speech. I mean, I may not like a lot of what rap has to say, but freedom of speech. Now
I'm seeing people on the right who once condemned some of these artists coming out and saying, I'm sorry, I support this now. I didn't mean to fuck you off, because they're desperate to be heard.
Oh God. So yep. Welcome to Nazi America.
To not worry about what horrid ideologies they are elevating and amplifying with their platform. A game that nobody knew about until you started talking about it.
Visual novels are kind of niche in their own right, from what I understand.
Visual novels are like, they're fun for me whenever they're well written and have a bunch of different paths and I can fuck up things in different ways.
And they're fun to hear.
I have a VHS copy of Birth of a Nation.
Nice.
I bought it from Goodwill.
That is the most boring movie I've ever heard about. It's
I know.
But it is the most boring movie. But so
isn't it?
Yeah, but even if it's boring, it's just one of those things you got to have up there. Like,
I bought it
in the Rye. You got to put that on your bookshelf, even if you never read it, just so that you have it.
Right? Yeah, I bought it simply just so I had it.
What book, Jim?
Catcher in the Rye.
Nah. Fucking.
Child London? Fuck, who cares?
Catcher in the Rye was emo before emo was a thing.
To not concern themselves with the impact they're having on the world.
But the thing is,
do you even realize that most people aren't that hardcore of a gamer to actually sign up to Steam? I mean, even among gamers, that's only a percentage of people that have signed up to that service.
Sign up and get things.
And now, an even smaller portion of that community even wants visual novels. So, and that's changing the world. Just that really small group of people has just corrupted the entire planet.
Even the people who sign up to Steam, most of them want the big things. They want, EA Sports games or whatever.
Oh, fuck EA.
Whatever. They want the big games. They're not going to look in the 10th page of obscure visual novels from Thailand or whatever.
I love this line. I just love it. To consider why one depiction of rape in a game is acceptable and another is not.
And also the thing is...
Okay, I mean... what the fuck?
Like I said, it goes back to the whole... like most people aren't even going to find it. And yes, I agree. We should make these abhorrent ideologies out in public, so most people with a sense of morals and decency will realize how abhorrent they are, and the people who don't, well, they're going to gravitate to them anyway. I mean, I gravitated towards Satanism. Do you think that's fucking AG8? Do you think anti-cosmic Satanism is out there publicly? You gotta dig through.
Why it's acceptable
well,
to go...
we're just gonna have to get better about that, Elliot.
why it's acceptable to go on a murdering spree in the AAA blockbuster, but not an active shooter, or why one anime game is pornography, but another is not. Would I care either way? No. But apparently you have to make all these distinctions.
Because
why the fuck do people care?
Because these ones are more unrealistic, and that one's more realistic, and therefore it's bad. Oh, I haven't actually played the game. A friend of a friend of a friend of a friend told me that I should complain about it because it features guns in schools. So I'm gonna wah.
Literally.
That was.
If you have that issue with something, let it the fuck go.
But no, they cannot. Because if they do, then they're not the moral ones. They're not the righteous ones. They're not more Christian-y than Christians.
Yes, the atheists are actually more Christians than Christians.
Mm-hmm.
I know some Christians who are like, Jesus, really? But most of these people have never heard of this game. Most of these people have never looked into it, have never played it, if it indeed can be played in some sort of beta test. I don't know. But most of these people are complaining about it, that have no interest in ever playing it.
It's not.
You know what? It's fascist time, Jim. Gather around for another edition of Elite's Fascism. I think if you complain about something and you don't know, about it, you've never played it or you've never watched it, then you deserve to be, gas chamber. Not that I'm advocating that.
Now, last night, I was copying and pasting a bunch of shit out of the random magical backfires out of the back of the book of the Fatal game system.
Oh, God, why?
Now, those were fucking fun as shit.
No, why? Though, why?
Because I wanted to. I was going through some RPG discussions, and I was like, I remember Fatal. I'm going to go look that up again. And I have it on my hard drive, so that's easy. And then I just started copying and pasting passages so Elliot could see what the fuck was going on with it, and he was having a good old time. And I was like, this spell fails in this specific way. The caster just stops whatever they're doing, walks to the closest mountain, and starts building a cabin on it.
My favorite, Jim, is caster and target decide to forever go out and make babies. And see, I take the language quite literally. That means that once they leave and make babies, then they're forced to leave and go make more babies.
Yes. They just keep making more babies everywhere they go.
Hey, it sounds fun. But I mean, okay, so I don't know much about Fatal. From what I understand, it's a horrible game.
Oh yeah, it liberally uses D1000s, not 100s, 1000s.
10 million, right?
I think one chart goes up to 10,000.
I think one's 10 million from what I read.
I don't think it goes that far, but dear God, it's like
okay here.
And then you got such winners as like your genitals fall off for one round and just reattach. Okay, what?
Wait, what?
So your vag just falls out of your crotch, and you see it on the ground for about 6 seconds, and then it just reattaches. It's like, what happened? Why?
We should do a game with that because that would be fucking awesome.
I'll play a D20 system like D&D and just include the chart. Oh God!
Okay, but the thing is I know people who complain about the offensive elements in the game. To me, they're just hilarious.
It's the game mechanics which make it fucking suck. It would be like a hilarious fucking joke game to play if it had actual playable rules.
Yes, Jim.
I was talking more about the infant anal circumcised.
There is a 1d10 million roll, apparently, which, as TV Trope said, would be a die big enough to crush Indiana Jones. Wouldn't that be a great movie? Indiana Jones and the huge 10 million sided die.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a 1d10 million rule. So anyway, but the thing is, people complain about Fatal and its offensive elements or whatever. But how many people have actually played it? Probably none, because I've read some of this, and
the offensive elements make me just want to say, okay, this is what happens whenever you cast a spell in a certain point in Ash Point. You just have to roll to see if it succeeds, and if it doesn't, then it backfires in one of these wonderful ways.
With the thing you sent me about racial holy warfare was the offensive elements in Fatal were at least funny. The offensive elements of racial holy warfare were just stupid.
Yeah, it was the same shit you hear over and over again. They didn't even get creative with it.
No, they did not.
And the game mechanics were 100% playable, but so grossly oversimplified, it was boring.
Well, what the weapons weren't even statted, so you can't even.
I'm guessing it's one bullet, someone dies. I guess, I don't know. I didn't really go through the whole damn thing.
Sounds so, yeah, but people complain about it. But how many of them actually played these games?
It's not especially fun to think through these things, and you rarely wind up with a clear dividing line between acceptable and unacceptable.
I don't think there is a dividing line. I think that people should be allowed to gorge on the entertainment that they so choose, and if it's repulsive to you, then go watch something else.
It's not a satisfying exercise. You never get confirmation on which calls were right and which ones were wrong. Then why are you declaring what's right and wrong? Why are you doing the exercise yourself?
Why do you need someone to give you confirmation? You should be able to confirm things yourself with your brain. You know, the brain thing, the thing up here. Hey.
Do you need the space pope to tell you what's right and wrong?
Yes, I do. The space pope.
And it's nearly impossible to be consistent in applying the same set of values to each decision. But choosing not to make these calls is still a choice. I choose not to, because I would rather see what the fuck gets out there. And sure, you get shovelware, but you might get a gem or something that's so horrible that you have to play it because it's hilarious. It's hilariously bad.
Over the road racing.
Mm-hmm.
You're a winner. As you break the space-time continuum.
You just keep going in reverse because there's no speed limit on reverse.
So it goes no, there's a speed limit. I think it's like 50 million miles an hour or something.
I think the game just crashes after a certain point. But the moment you hit the brakes, you just instantly stop. You're going from like twice the speed of light to a stop within a millisecond. Do you realize what that would do to your innards?
I can tell you that on the PS2 game, it did not crash. It actually had a top speed, and once you get the top speed, you won because you appeared in all points ever.
Finding an excuse to forego the exercise entirely doesn't make you a principled defender of free speech. Yeah, it does.
Actually, it does.
It makes you a moral coward. No, this is moral cowardice. Because you have to just go with the herd. Just another cow.
Yeah, this is pretty much... Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Being a moral coward means, going with the herd. Sorry, I think I just chat my pants.
I find it indefensible and without redeeming qualities of any kind. I can't say I expect any better of them. There will always be assholes, for lack of an equally concise word. Any individual can devote their limited time in life to spreading darkness and hurting other people. Like you are.
Well, okay.
You gotta have rain, gloom and doom. That's darkness.
Okay,
and you're hurting people by saying that these people shouldn't have...
You have expressed your opinion that you find it indefensible. You have yet to tell me why I should care about your opinion. Who are you? Who are you? What have you done that I would care about to get me to care. No, not even that. Because even people, I mean, I don't care what Kerry King has to say about, you know, a video game. I love Slayer, but really.
It only takes one PR person making a catastrophically bad decision to have an otherwise respected publisher openly courting a community that welcomes Nazis and racists. So we've gone from rape to Nazis and racists who have part of their canon to murder all rapists, even the pretend ones.
So we've gone from rape in a fantasy zombie Holocaust environment to this. Racists really can't make a good game. Have you ever played Ethnic Cleansing, Jim?
I've heard of the game, and it looks like it sucks.
It looks like it sucks. Apparently, the controls are screwed up. You only get one weapon. Yeah, so racists just can't make good games for some reason. They're too busy hating to make good games.
But it takes licensors of children's games and platform holders to decide such an action isn't worth publicly condemning. So now you're lumping kids games publishers in with Nazis and all that in with rapists. And
well, no, it's not worth publicly condemning because this is not okay. In this store, I don't even know how to respond to that. So if I find a kid's game and I find an Arch Goat record in the same store,
it takes the Entertainment Software Association to say nothing when one of its member companies is undermining their shared cause.
Oh, please just end my life.
Directly marketing to the boogeymen that concerned parent groups have always imagined occupies every corner of gaming. So now you're trying to...
Now they're trying to say that anyone who plays this game...
So you're saying that you're allied yourself with the fucking concerned parent groups. You're aligning with them.
Yes, and what they're saying, what he or she or it or whatever attack helicopter is saying is that anyone who plays this game must be a horrible, horrible person. I mean, yeah, there's probably going to be...
Yay, everyone is awesome all the time. Yay.
I mean, okay, yeah. Will there be that one person who says, well, I've always wanted to rape and now I'll get to... Yeah, fine. But, sorry, I think I just had a stroke.
A tasteless game can be made by one person, but it takes the 170 people who make up Valve to make the game available to 125 million more. What does that matter? So what if it's available to them? How many were going to buy it before this article came out? And now that it's taken off the store, people will be hunting down the website to get it now, who otherwise wouldn't have cared about it. They never heard about it until you started crying. And I'll bet you a lot of these people are going to buy the game and never play it. They just want to financially support these bastards because you're going after them.
But, okay, fine. Does Steam have any content filters? Anything you could, filter out offensive games? Do they have warnings that said, warning, this game may contain graphic and, explicit material, not for people?
Actually, you have to go into the settings and turn off the adult-only filter.
See, maybe what Steam needs to do is just have it,
It's set by default that you do not see adult-only content, that you can't see porno games or any of that shit.
Then what? Then mark it as a adult-only game?
It is. That was the whole point. It was an adult-only game. You would have had to have dug to find this game and dig hard and fast.
It's just fuck. Okay. That's new level of VDC. Well, it's not new, but fuck. So you're crying about something
that normies would have never found if you never cried about it.
And kids, what would think about the children? Listen, parents of the world, if you're letting your kid play, Steam games unsupervised, then you're a fucked up parent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, we got to let the government raise our kids because we're too important to do so.
They would
What was that? You broke up.
Website here hadn't said, oh.
I mean, I know people who have bought kids tablets, but they have settings on them that, you can't access adult content, things like that. First off, I don't really agree with getting kids tablets. I think they should go play outside, maybe actually get some new ideas, but whatever. But if you let your kids play unsupervised, then really, why are you fit to be a parent? Fuck.
It takes the thousands more at Electronic Arts, Activision, Bethesda, Ubisoft, Take-Two, and every other publisher on Steam to share the platform with this content, to say they have no problem selling their games on the same digital shelf as Rape Day.
You know what this will...
So in other words, everyone else is to blame for this game as well.
Apparently. What the fuck is that?
You know what this will lead to? You know what this will lead to, guys, is... Yes, hi, I'm the publisher of Harry Potter. We found something on Amazon called Anal Cunt. We don't want that on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Complete idiot. And there was a guy who was talking about how mean and horrible we were, talking about down to our generation, how it made him really sad, how he feels inferior, and how... I told you about this guy, Jim. He feels so inferior whenever someone puts down his generation, and he'll never be worthy.
It's time to start making these companies answer for their responses, or lack thereof, to the actions of the people they choose to do business with.
Well, kid, this is your generation. This is your generation right here. This is what we've led to. All this will lead to, if this gets out, is a war on anything subversive or offensive or whatever. It'll be the culture war, but instead it'll be the left against the culture.
Can I make a note here?
What?
I am a millennial. I have always been identified as a millennial simply because of when I was fucking born. And honestly, you guys, seriously, you have such huge problems with shit. Come on.
I can't identify as a millennial.
Get the fuck over yourselves. That's what I want to tell.
You're both going to be called millennials just because the only qualifier is the year you were born.
I know people. Yes. I know people who are older.
The question is, do you act like it? Because if you acted like you would act more like Elliot Rodger and less like someone I would actually associate with.
Yeah, I know people older than you who qualify as millennials. You know,
1982 to about 2002. That's your millennial.
But so this is why we make fun of the generation, because, like I said, it used to be Pat Buchanan's famous culture war speech. Now it's the left's culture war.
Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, Activision, Blizzard, and Bethesda, and Valve
all these
did not respond to us.
Yeah, I want to make fun of all those people. EA Games can suck my fucking dick.
Yeah.
I'll say, even if they did, half those companies really...
Oh, I'm sorry. Origin Client no longer works on my Windows 10 desktop. What the fuck? I paid to buy Sims 2 from you motherfuckers. Why the fuck can't I play it anymore?
I would just like to point out that if you do work for these companies, or if you do share the beliefs of the person in this article, you are more than welcome to come down and do an interview with us, and we will question you about your beliefs and get maybe a more fleshed out, because you can't always say what you want to say in an article. Interviews, you can flesh them out a little bit more. So if you are the author of this story, or someone who agrees with them, drop me a line at cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com, and we will sort something out for you.
Yeah, fuck you. Come at me, bro.
It won't happen. You just killed it right there, but
I'm sorry, man. I'm really fucking pissed about that.
I think my comments tend to scare people away because they're like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get freight train." No, you will not get freight train. You will get equal time to discuss your personal beliefs. And however, I will argue with you because your beliefs seem anathema to mine. Jim, you know you want to.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, onward to the next. The ethical slut inside America's growing acceptance of polyamory.
I kind of read that book.
Oh, an ethical slut. What do you? Well,
I kind of read that book.
I thought an ethical slut was like the person right there. That person was sort of an ethical slut or moral slut.
That's... Okay, Elliot, that is literally the name of one of the books that I've read called The Ethical Slut.
Yeah, I know. I was making a joke about things. All right, Jim, tell us about the tell us about ethical sluts.
In 1994, sexual educator Janet W. Hardy was bedridden for a month with a bad flu that had evolved into bronchitis. She was, as she recalls, high off my ass on codeine cough syrup.
Ooh. Jim on codeine is quite funny.
Not really show worthy though.
And he doesn't even remember what he said, but I remember what he said. He was talking about a cat trying to eat his thumb.
When she caught a showing of Indecent Proposal on TV, the married couple in it are faced with a moral dilemma when a billionaire offers them $1 million in exchange for spending one night with the wife. Hardy, who is now 62, had herself been in a marriage that ended about a decade earlier and had not been in a monogamous relationship since. Okay. At the scene where the couple hesitates over the billionaire's offer, Hardy'd wonder if she was having a fever dream.
That's not at all polygamy. What?
Well, no, but this is the beginning of what.
This is where she started getting her ideas.
I know. It's just, what the fuck?
I don't know. Personally, my thing is, if you want to be poly, be poly. If you want to be monogamous, be monogamous. If you want to fuck trees. Have fun, everyone. I'm a tree fucker.
$1 million and Robert Redford, and they were having a problem with this. It made no sense to me. I really got it at that point, how distant I'd become from mainstream sexual ethics.
I mean, hang-ups about things like that. I couldn't imagine sharing someone with someone else, but whatever.
That's okay.
That just means I'll have to kill Jim.
No, it's just, that's okay. You know, nobody needs to understand that or needs to be okay with that. That's fine.
Still gonna kill Jim.
No, don't do that, please. Kind of need him.
Well, you're supposed to poison him. You are the worst killer in the world.
I am going to poison him, damn it, but I have to share him with you, so...
Ugh. No. It's disgusting. I draw the line at that. Oh God. I think, that was even worse than when we looked at, like, okay, Cupid, and we found we, like, matched.
Well, I'm sorry, Elliot.
I'm about to. That's disgusting. Oh,
in 1997, under Hardy's own indie sex ed publishing house, Greenery Press, they published The Ethical Slut, a guide to infinite sexual possibilities. I don't know about infinite.
Well, yeah. I mean, once you get forceps and like flamethrowers, and yeah, it's infinite. You just have to have an imagination. Wait, you want me to do what with the woodchuck?
The first usage of the word polyamory is...
feel bad about it.
What was that?
Okay.
You're breaking up now.
Yeah,
that's bad for being a woman.
That's the answer because you broke up about 50 times. We could not hear a word you said.
You might need to reload the page.
Yeah. Ethical slut.
Yay. Anyway, the first usage of the word polyamory is credited to pagan priestess Morning Glory. Ravenheart Zell. Morning Glory Ravenheart Zell in 1990.
I mean, like it's,
The different form.
As long as you're open about being poly,
Yeah.
I mean, but I do think polyamory. I mean, I do think if you really do want to play the field, but do feel love for more than one person, rather than say, "Oh, we're monogamous and cheat," just be honest and say you want an open relationship. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But I really do think that would curtail a lot of cheating.
Yes, it would.
But whatever. I'm sort of torn between
polyamory isn't about playing the field.
I know it's not, but this is what Elliot thinks.
No, I know it's not, but people use it to.
People do often use it as a slang term for saying I'm swinging without,
Yeah, people use. But what my point is that I mean, well, I'm sort of torn because there's an old romantic hidden somewhere in here a little bit, although it's heavily medicated most of the time.
The different forms of non-monogamy have presented themselves in various cultures for millennia. In Western culture in the early 1990s, it was still seen as an alternative practice, the kind favored by pagan priestesses.
That sounds fun.
Today, polyamory is less tied to one specific subculture or identity. In the 2 decades since the first edition of The Ethical Slut, polyamory has expanded into a practice that, if not outright mainstream, is at least as much more widely accepted and understood.
I first heard about it a little bit in school, but it really happened with Jim. He told me about things like that. I was like, you mean it's possible to love, actually care for more than one person? Holy shit. You're told these things as a kid, it's just you get one person, and so
the main thing is time's a finite resource, so I limited it.
Oh, and the thing is though is I know people who practice it, and then when these other person practice it, they get all jealous.
I'd rather have quality over quantity.
Well,
but I'm still not going to go monogamous. So
we know that's what you do, Jim. We have video.
Yay. According to a 2014 article from Psychology Today, at least 9.8 Americans are in some kind of non-monogamous relationship. 9.8 million, that's a lot. Yay.
Does my toaster count as a non-monogamous relationship? Sorry.
20 years ago, I'd get calls from show producers all the time, and call would go, can you point me towards a poly family that's not either old hippies or screaming geeks?
Or
I would say no, because A, that's most of my Rolodex, and B, that's who's doing poly back then. But these days, when I speak to poly audiences, they're young professionals, all shiny and new.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It is what it is. They're not hurting anyone. Although I did think it was funny, we read in one article that was basically a man applauding his wife for sleeping with other people because she's a feminist. That one was hilarious. That was way back. That was like 2015.
Heather is a 35-year-old mental health advocate who lives with her husband and 2 kids in Toronto, Canada.
Oh my fuck.
She and her husband started dating when they were 17 years old, a couple of years after the first edition of The Ethical Slut was published. The 2 Canadian teenagers didn't yet have the language for what they wanted.
Oh, I don't know, eh? What do you want? Oh, I don't know, you hoser. Okay, let's go get drunk.
This was pre-internet forum, pre all that stuff. We were pretty going by gut. I didn't know the word polyamorous. I didn't know that there were tons of other people that had ethically non-monogamous relationships.
What the hell are ethics anyway?
I'm a bit worried here because this is a very my own situation.
It means everyone knows what the fuck's going on and there's no problems, mostly.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Oh, the things they tried. Oh, yeah, the things they tried to teach me. Yeah, how'd that work out?
The models they saw for long-term relationships, such as their parents or friends' parents, were monogamous, but didn't seem that satisfying.
Yeah, but how many of them are getting action on the side? That's what I want to know.
I am the side piece. Dun dun dun. Yeah, hear her.
No, Jim is absolutely the side piece, so don't worry.
No, but I'm just
I just love the lack of enthusiasm. They're like, meh. Yeah, I know I'm not that good.
Yeah.
Jim's a whore.
Sorry, Jim. I like it. Just fuck.
Just let me get a small lick thing.
I gotta be mean to you every now and then, man. That's what I do.
Exactly. All that she and her then boyfriend knew was that they liked each other a lot and they didn't feel the need to be exclusive. Yes, it takes a lot of trust and discussion to start down the path.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We had a conversation where we both realized I don't care if you flirt with other people. Actually, it's kind of great, and I love that side of you. She and her boyfriend were both extroverted, social people, and flirting with other people just felt natural.
See, that's the problem I have. I'm not a very social person. I'd rather eat people than meet people.
I'm sociable within the right crowd, but half the time I'm still sitting there with my brain working instead of talking.
Oh, but I like to eat people too, but
I'm sociable with friends. Like with you guys, I could, but with other people, it's like I don't know what I'm supposed to talk to you about. How about midget porn? Oh, you're leaving?
With other people, it's more the question of what will get me put in prison or in a mental institution. These are the topics I have to avoid, which is why I don't like talk much in front of most people.
Like midget porn.
Also, I'm more than anybody's dick than get put in jail. So,
Yay. Dick's put in jail. Heather, who identifies as queer, liked that she could continue to explore that side of her sexuality with other women. They moved together at age 19. Her boyfriend started to date a woman he worked with at a restaurant. When Heather met her at a holiday party, she realized she was attracted to her too. The 3 of them entered into a relationship together that lasted just under a year.
Yeah. See, it's kind of hard to comment.
That's all right.
It's kind of hard to comment on this stuff because the show
seems reasonable.
Well, the show's mainly for stupid things, and this isn't really that stupid.
No, it isn't. It seems reasonable.
I don't know really what.
We're bringing it up because it's going to be a basis for other things down the road.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Let's just go down here.
Yeah, because the
show's read The Ethical Slut.
The show's for mocking people. I don't want to agree with anything they say.
I've done that. I'm sorry.
You know what I mean? No, I mean it's a good article, and I agree. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you haven't read the, this is something you should read.
and I've had things where I'm like, wait, I feel things for two different people and things, but yeah, it's kind of hard to really comment on this when
Yeah.
I just got back from having a stroke about the
Chick.
Amber was born around the same time as that Mensa gathering.
Better.
What happened, Jim?
Amber was born around the same time as that Mensa gathering, and today works at social justice nonprofit in Brooklyn. Yay, social justice nonprofit. Oh, that's just like the last article. So she's working for the people that wrote the last article. Lovely.
Yeah.
At 23, she's barely older than the first edition of the book. Her vocabulary is comfortably peppered with terms that took Hardy, Easton, and Heather years to start using. She prefers to use the term polyamory to open relationship because the latter implies a hierarchy to the people she dates, and she doesn't have a primary partner.
Okay.
Well,
good for her.
Her sibling, who is 18 and genderqueer, also identifies as poly, and Amber is out to her parents. The way I told them was, I said, yeah, I'm dating this person and this person and this person. I explained this to my mom, and her concern was, well, what if you say the wrong name during sex?
All right. If you persist, I'm going to have to start making slut jokes. So fine. Actually, the way Amber told, Mom, I'm a dirty, dirty slut. I like cock.
Though Amber has only been identifying as polyamorous for a few years, she was 19 when she asked her boyfriend if they could open up their relationship. She speaks with the confidence and authority of someone who has been allowed to experiment with her sexuality her entire adult life.
I don't identify as anything. I've never wanted to identify as anything. I'm me.
I must cling to all identities all the time so that I can be special.
At 19, she asked her boyfriend if she could get gangbanged underneath the soccer bleachers.
It's before I actually did that. What the fuck?
I mean, I agree with this, but fuck it, I'm gonna start making fun of it.
Oh no, you can make fun of me. That's
I'm
fine.
sure you're waiting to.
Need some humor in this topic.
I'm sure you're waiting to ask me the big jealousy question. Of course, polyamorous relate.
I was waiting to ask how many diseases you have. But
great. Of course, polyamorous people deal with jealousy. It's just that we see it as an emotion to be acknowledged and talked about and worked through instead of stabbing people in the face 37 times and kicking them in the balls 3.
I think we should talk about it while she gets while she I don't know gangbangs. I don't know. Fuck it. Well, she thinks it's funny, so I must be doing something right.
Exactly. She emphasizes the need for communication in all relationships, particularly when it comes to hurt feelings.
Communication. Gee, never heard that before. That's
jealousy.
That's a coded message, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Jealousy usually comes from insecurity and fear, summarizing a large portion of the ethical slut, and can require self-reflection and metacognition. Well, you need to do that introspection and shit. Even it's like introspection is a brand new concept to people.
Yeah. But well, it is a brand new concept for people.
For some people.
She is active in the New York poly, kink, and queer scenes.
Yeah, she's active in New York, all right, on the street for $10.
You have to be part of a scene in order to. God.
What scene am I part of? The Swine Brothers scene? Oh God!
Yes.
I'm not part of anything. Fuck.
What a pathetic scene we are.
We are, aren't we? Oh my God, Elliot! I'm
It's
part
whenever
of your scene. Oh my God!
You're part of our scene.
Oh, I want to cry now.
Yes, it's pathetic, isn't it? Or is it
Oh,
glorious?
no.
As we like to sit there and imagine people's faces being melted off as someone spins tire on it.
That is actually kind of awesome.
Yeah, you get that scene like
That was the
sorry.
greatest laugh I think I've ever heard. Just the cackle.
just the Lost Ark scene where the guy's face is melting, except it's a tire, not divine fire.
I'm sorry. I literally did not.
This is
Shit. So thank you.
This is the lamest fucking scene. Welcome to my black circle.
She goes
Thank
to
you.
several events a week, including BDSM play parties and swinger mixers.
Okay.
I bet you they all play music that sucks.
Yes.
Sorry.
Arch Goat is romantic music. At least
I
it is
ask
to
her
me.
if all her partners are part of the same community, and she laughs. Yeah, whether they like it or not. Even when you break up with a
part of this
partner, you're
community.
still in each other's peripherals.
No, Jim, you're part of this community, whether you like it or not, ties the person down.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's if you're bouncing to all the same parties and shit. What if you're not bouncing to all the same parties?
What if you find bouncing to parties repugnant?
This sounds like polite society trying to take a jab at shit.
It sounds like just bouncing to parties. It sounds like just typical idiotic teenage. But I have a question for Miss Amber, which I know she can't answer. Who wants to bet that in 20 years she'll be a fundamentalist Christian who speaks out against the evils of polyamorous relationships? Because I know so many young people who have experimented. I used to be all messed up on drugs, and then I found the Lord.
Mm-hmm. That's whenever you say, "Dear God, you changed for the old days, dude."
Oh, dear God, I never, ever dealt with the drugs before I did the polyamory. Oh, my God.
I know people who experimented with open relationships and blah, blah, blah. And they were anti-religion. And, they were just going to, have
Yeah, no, that's fine.
like a committed partner and then some other flings. Now they're like mothers who are like even more Christian than Pat Robertson and who think that like everything except being married at like 18 is a sin. So, I know people like that.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm glad I had kids before all that shit happened.
But I mean, my advice would be don't be extreme about it. Things like that. The more you're willing to just sort of have one or two side pieces or whatever. The more but if you're really extreme about it and you start campaigning for poly rights or whatever, then yes, you're more likely to go the complete other side. So like I said, some of the most extreme people are now the most extreme of the other side with fucking
I especially evoke poly rights. So
he's gone completely. Jim, do you remember the woman in Nigeria I told you about that thinks that like wives should be boss to their husband? She's that level of insanity.
As polyamory is treated less like a novelty and more of a valid relationship model, modern entertainment is listening to reflect that.
I just never care. I mean, modern entertainment's never going to listen to anything I do. So, I mean, the closest you got was like Beavis and Butthead, and
Beavis. I am Beavis.
No, you're a Butthead.
Fuck you. I'll set you on fire. Fire. Fire.
No. Can't set people on fire anymore, remember?
Fuck you.
Who would Danimon be?
Well, I'm neither Beavis nor Butthead.
One of the
God.
Sugar or Tangeray, one of those two girls that's like, hi, we're about to die here, so why don't we just get our rocks off? And we don't care if you're the pathetic losers that do it. Oh, wait, we're spared. Now we have to have sex with all the people in Munchkin Land.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait. Can I be that guy that Beavis and Butthead had the problem with in the movie?
The guy that was just... Do you mean Anderson or do you mean the terrorist?
I mean the guy that they were told not to go whack off in his trailer.
You want to be Anderson?
Can I be that guy? Because that was fucking awesome.
You've just been whacking off like a bunch of spider monkeys.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
Eric's the glam dude.
Yeah. Stewart. And the 8-episode web series Unicorn Land.
That's not the lamest title I've ever heard.
Annie is trying to explore her sexuality after the dissolution of her marriage. She does this by unicorning. The term given to what was that?
Keep reading.
Keep reading. Given to women who join couples in bed for threesomes. Every 3 to 7 minute episode introduces Annie to a new couple. Straight, lesbian, kinky, long-term married couples looking to spice up their sex life.
There are people with mind control fetishes.
It depicts one very specific subset of polyamory, but in doing so, manages to explore much of the richness and complexities of modern relationships that go ignored in most mainstream media.
That sounds like something I really would have no desire to watch ever.
Exactly, yes. Me also. I would not want to watch that. That just seems weird. What? Why?
This is the first time I think I've heard the term unicorning, and now I know what it means.
Yeah, no, that's weird.
I have heard it once, and I hope to never hear it again.
I mean,
now I've heard it again, so you suck, Jim.
I mean, I saw someone screaming they weren't going to be a unicorn, but I didn't bother engaging in that because I had no idea what the fuck was going on. Now I think I know what it applies to.
What's up with these cutesy unicorning? Just call it a threesome. Fuck.
That. All right, look. I wouldn't actually mind watching a TV show sexual hang-up and whatnot. This unicorning shit is like, what? Pretty out there.
I wouldn't mind watching a TV show where a guy does a whole lot of meth and then pisses his pants.
Oh.
I think that was Breaking Bad.
I would watch it. Yeah, no, that was Breaking Bad. I would watch that. I would.
Bad. That's Cops.
Isn't it?
Yeah, Cops is the better show. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. But we found the meth bag going.
Oh no! Oh god, no. Okay.
Off topic a little bit, but Jim, I don't know if you ever watched like CSI or anything, but they always find sperm samples in any crime. They find sperm samples. I don't even want to know. There's
just someone walking down the street jerking off every day. They got a blister nut on everything going down the street, so they find the sperm sample.
Well, yeah.
Elliot, have you ever grown up wondering if you'll be on Cops?
Okay.
I did.
I was always in these long relationships, and they always had this goal of marriage and longevity.
Oh, yeah.
Says the show's creator, Lucy Giuseppe.
Gillespie.
Oh, good for him.
Like Anne, she got married young at 26. 26 is young for marriage.
Apparently.
26 is young. I'm not even 20
like
yet.
Kind of average.
That's 17, 18 is young. 26 is like, I think.
Oh, let me know.
I
We're
think
millennials.
26. I think that's.
You're not thinking about crapping out kids till you're 40? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we're millennials. Oh, what? Fuck.
I'm not a millennial. I'm not a millennial. I just like to point that out. And fuck you if you say otherwise. I will come down to Pennsylvania and I will yell at you.
And then
Okay, Elliot.
And then
Come on at me.
Then I will go to fart, but out will come all the diarrhea as it sprays all over you. And my ass just starts shooting fire.
Hey, come on, Elliot.
And I'll have to yell at you harder because you just burned me. Yeah, come on. I will just talk on you. Go, hello. Yes, hello. Is Dana on in? Yeah, okay, I'll get her. Yes. I'm not a millennial.
And then she split from her husband about 4 months after she got married. That's commitment. 4 months. Bravo.
Oh, nice.
4 months. Hell, people said the show would have gone down the tubes about 2 weeks, and what was 4-year anniversary is coming up in a few months.
Yay!
I'm committed, motherfucker.
Part of the reason I got divorced was I didn't know how to communicate in my relationship.
Well, saying words
Seriously?
might help. Why can't people just be open about what they want? I'm tired of trying to read people's minds.
That's what I always fucking hated, was the bitches that always thought that, I knew what they wanted whenever they never told me. I mean, and I talked to... Oh, God.
10 years. What the shit?
Well, that's why I always tell them. I'm always very open about, look, do this and do this. If you want to do that, then do that, and,
I was talking with this girl that I was with once, a couple years ago, and like she's talking to me like she knows everything about me, and it's like, dear God, no, that's the opposite of me. No, that's the opposite of me. You're suggesting a TV show I have no interest in. You're talking about me as if I'm like this guy that you have in your head, this ideal picture of what you think I should be, and about 95% of what you're saying is false.
Yep.
Stop reading that damn book.
I know a couple of girls who I've dated who, even though I was very open about that, they still think that one thinks that I'm a Christian. I never said I was, but she thinks that I'm some sort of Christian who likes pop punk. I don't know when I said that. I might have been really drunk. I don't know.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
I mean, I may have said it was sarcasm, and she maybe just didn't understand sarcasm. By the way, if you're wondering out there, I'm neither Christian nor like pop punk.
And I sort of felt my needs were secondary to my partner's.
Well, yeah, then leave. I don't care.
Yeah. Then I realized I didn't have to do that to myself.
Yes, you do. 5 times a week.
She went on a kind of tour of relationship options after she divorced and became involved in the New York fetish scene. What the fuck's so big about the New York fetish scene? God.
Well, apparently this is where that was written, the New York scene. Apparently New York's just the capital of everything.
God.
I don't like scenes. That's why I do online dating, people. Why do you do online? It's like, because I don't want to find anyone in California, because I don't want a reason to have to stick around in California.
For the most part, this scene's full of very interesting people, very conscientious people who are creating and sustaining, maintaining very high functioning, ethical, polyamorous relationships.
My fetish
is sound like a sack of neo-yuppie filth that needs to be executed.
Jim, my fetish is I like to be, forced into the trunk, my head forced in the trunk, and the door closed on my head. I've heard weirder fetishes. You're telling me about someone who
wants to be thrown down a flight of stairs so she can get off. Yes.
Yes.
There.
So now that we can actually hear your cigarettes, we're gonna do a tally on how many cigarettes you've smoked. I think the record's like 40 or some obscene amount.
Gillespie read the ethical Gillespie read The Ethical Slut 2 years ago and started writing Unicorn Land about 6 months later. The idea of unicorning appealed to her as a narrative device because the evolution of her own sexuality felt like such an internal mental process. I wanted to be the third wheel and
she made it into a physical thing.
And become the mythical unicorn that no other relationship can find because, whenever two people are looking for a third girl, that's finding the mythical unicorn.
It sounds, once again, like a show I have no interest in watching.
She's really able to try out other people's relationships and see how they function from within.
Okay, here's my relationship. Scream at me for 45 minutes and then walk away. Try that and see what happens.
So, Dynamon, what about our relationship here?
Well, I posit to it that him and I could probably get along as long as we were not actually talking to each other for a majority of the week.
Yes, as long as you're not talking to each other, you'll get along.
Oh, no. Leaving each other alone is a big part of how you get along.
Mm-hmm. It's just
my grandparents have been in a 50-year relationship simply because they've left each other the fuck alone. So
yeah, I mean that works.
I'm sorry.
My last one was we didn't talk to each other for 3 months and then it ended. So, hey, whatever. Anyway.
Also, I barely talked to you, Elliot.
Yes, I know.
And I barely talked
well, we always
to Jim coming up tits. So, hey, that's nice.
We always have very interesting conversations.
Yes, I'm always playing with them damn titties, aren't I?
I don't want to know.
Up tits, not playing with tits.
Jim is a tit.
We're seeing some TV shows that are specifically about Polly. She cites an episode of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend in which protagonist Rebecca Bunch finds herself in love with 2 men and can't decide between them.
Oh, for God's sake.
That's a common plot device.
So what? No, Jim. So what she does, and I don't mean to spoil it, she cuts them in half, and then has sex.
That sounds great. Cutting them in half.
Yeah, that's.
She goes and interviews a poly triad. What's up with this in triads? It's like we got to have the Holy Trinity here.
The Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity of sex.
To find out how to deal with this and finds out that what she's actually doing is just being a person with very bad boundaries.
What?
Yeah, it sounds like she doesn't want to do the poly thing. She just doesn't set up the boundaries.
Oh.
Well, and fine. Some people don't want to do the poly thing.
That's fine. You don't have to.
Yes. We're not going to force things on
TV shows with fucking this shit in it. Let's see. Bandits and Big Love on HBO about Mormon polygamists. Yay.
Oh. Yeah, that's not polygamy.
My parents like the show, but I never cared for it.
Mormon is not what modern polygamy is at all.
Unicorn Land and Broad City, in which Ilana Gazer's character dates Hannibal Buress for the show's first 3 seasons while continuing to pursue sex with other people, indicate that younger audiences are ready and open for more. Or maybe they're just interested in this relationship dynamic without participating in themselves. Just because you stumbled across a scene that was really big into it, and the scene sounds like it's pretty pitiful on top of that.
That sounds really interesting, Jim.
Well, now Elliot has a point there. If you come across this kind of stuff and it makes you seem,
I try to avoid shows with love.
kind of
interesting,
but it makes sleep. Don't do it.
I try to avoid shows with love elements. Like at best, any sort of marriage or relationship is like the second, or but so yeah, I try to avoid things about relationships because I just don't care. I'd rather watch old men ranting about society.
Things only matter if there's a TV show about it. Bum bum bum.
Oh fuck! I'm a romance author. What the fuck? And fuck you, Elliot.
Okay, come over.
No.
No. Damn it.
Woman devastated that her husband won't sleep with her unless she gets explicit consent.
What?
Woman devastated that her husband won't sleep with her unless she gets explicit consent.
Yeah, that's no.
We keep talking about the other way. Now let's talk about
this is stupid.
Welcome to 2019. Although I have a
Oh,
feeling I have a feeling this is a joke site.
Yes.
No, this isn't a joke site. This was actually on a podcast. Slate's Dear Prudence advice columnist Daniel Mallory Ortberg revealed in a podcast released Wednesday how a woman's attempt at awakening her husband to the joys of affirmative consent led to a nightmare scenario wherein he now refuses to sleep in the same room as his wife, lest she accidentally touch
satire.
him. That sounds like someone sent in something trolling and someone took it seriously.
Yes.
On a podcast.
Satire.
At first, he decided that he didn't want to engage in any physical intimacy without explicitly discussing consent and parameters each time. And I was on board with that, thinking it would improve our connection. However, he recently decided that he doesn't want to have any physical contact whatsoever without discussing consent first. Who cares if it's satire or not?
I kind of do.
Are you having fun? I couldn't hear you, Danamund. You kind of broke up. You might need to just refresh the page again or unplug, plug in something. Eventually, the man moved out of the couple's shared bedroom because he feared non-consensual incidental contact during the night. He also began to refuse any physical contact, including hand-holding, hugs, or kisses. The letter writer described an instance where her husband blew up at her because she tapped him very lightly on the shoulder. Yeah, that's trolling.
Well, yeah. This sounds like a plot of a South Park episode.
Yeah, it does.
Pluralist.com. I don't know. Well, yeah, it sounds like a South Park episode. I think it's
Dear Prudence off of Slate.com. This is the actual podcast. Yay.
I think it's awesome because if it's real, like I said, it sounds like a South Park episode. And then the boys will figure out a way to get consent. People will learn things and.
Hey.
So yes, if that is real, that person is too stupid to live.
Well, not outright dismissing the notion that the man might be suffering from some latent trauma that could be treated through therapy. Ortberg was skeptical. This does not read to me like someone who is currently trying to work through trauma and is panicked. This reads more like an attempt to control, manipulate, and cow another person. You're taking it way too seriously. It probably is a letter trolling, and you took the bait.
You'd be surprised what I've seen.
That might be real, yes. It would not surprise me.
If it is real, this person's too stupid to live. If not, then, like I said, I think they've ripped off the script for a South Park episode. Matt Stone and Trey Parker are going to be pissed.
He is attempting to turn your marriage into an incredibly tense, fraught place where you feel like you have to ask permission to hold hands. Well, yeah, that's what affirmative consent means. You have to ask permission to do everything.
Yeah. Like I said, if it's real, she just shouldn't have said anything, and he shouldn't have overreacted. So they're perfect for each other.
Mm-hmm. And that feels like a red flag because that could absolutely get pretty emotionally fucked up pretty fast. The concept of affirmative consent has become ideologically fraught in recent years. Progressive and feminist advocates argue that structural power imbalances between men and women in patriarchal society necessitate yes means yes for sexual encounters.
How about we just have like equality and
like if she slaps you in the face, that's a no. If she does nothing, then that's a maybe with a potential yes. And if she starts guiding your hands, then it's definitely a yes.
I don't get kids. I don't know. It's like I thought that was unwritten.
Understand the sentence?
Unverbalized consent, but whatever.
No, I don't understand the sentence. I argue that a structural power.
Jim, wait a minute. Jim did not ask my consent to a show tonight. He just said set a show up. That is not consent. I mean that's how bad it's gonna get soon.
Yeah.
I literally don't understand this fucking sentence. It makes no goddamn sense.
I mean, I'm saying it to take the piss, but
structural power imbalances between men and women in a patriarchal society necessitate a yes means yes model for sexual encounters. Is that what you're talking about?
They're talking about it being ideologically fraught. What? No!
Well, they have to push this whole thing where you have to ask for every inch, every micrometer. You have to ask,
no.
Can I take one step closer to you? Yes. Can I take one step closer to you? Yes. But I didn't mean it that time. So it was actually no that meant yes. That was no.
I don't know. Whatever.
I just don't want to associate with these fight against it. Seriously, I don't get that part.
Can I just go live in a cave somewhere?
I want to go live in a cave with you, man.
The rise of the Me Too and Time's Up movement have put an unprecedented focus on the issue of what is acceptable sexual behavior. An explosion of high-profile allegations in the Hollywood movie industry and in the Australian theater scene have only added to the public scandal.
I could say something horrible right now. I wonder how many of those people who were head up the Me Too movement actually have submissive sex fetishes.
What is consent? In Australian jurisdictions, consent is generally held to include free and voluntary agreement given by the complainant.
May I piss in your face? No.
You're gonna call me a cunt?
All jurisdictions except for the Australian Capital Territory have statutory definitions of consent. The UK Sexual Offences Act talks of consent being agreement by choice, and the person has the freedom and capacity to make that choice.
Oh, for fuck's sake, are we actually trying to...
Well, yeah, if they're lying unconscious in a pool of their own blood and vomit, they probably can't say yes.
The affirmation model of consent essentially relies on a positive agreement between the parties before sexual interaction can begin. In the United States, the primary focus of affirmative consent is on how sexual assaults are handled in universities and colleges. California and a handful of other states and hundreds of educational institutions have now enacted affirmative consent laws and policies.
Hurry up and piss, because I have to piss really bad.
Go piss. I'll just read
No,
some.
she's gone. I'll wait till she gets back. So it's not just you. Mumble. She's gone to piss. So
Okay.
I'll wait till she's back. Or I just piss my pants right here.
You could just go ahead and piss.
Oh shit! No. Okay. Well, entertain the crowd, Jim.
Yes, I'll entertain the crowd. Let's see. What can I entertain you with? We shall, dun dun dun, go here.
If we were doing this on Skype, we could just
Yay.
edit this out.
Yes, I know. Yay. Unarmored defense. There we go. That's glorious. Everyone had to piss at the same time. That sucks. Why didn't they go beforehand like I did? Yay, we got more fun going on. I'll have that going later. There we are. Such fun things. You know what? I will edit this out later and repost it. Yeah, that sounds like a thing I will do. Because I'm really sucking at this because I can't think of anything else I want to talk about without the audience. Yay. Why does everyone have to pee at the same time? This is an unknown situation for me. We have never known this before or after. At any rate, I have another cigarette here. I did not think of needing to fill any time without people yelling at me that I was stupid. That was something new and exciting. There we go.
Hang on, I gotta get comfortable. I don't just sit down, I like recline and.
I kept thinking of things to talk about, and I could not think of anything to talk about.
Yeah, we need to.
And I want to wait for her to come back. I know what I'll do is download this and then re-upload it.
Yeah.
With this section cut out. Everyone's got to pee.
Sorry, people.
It's like everyone just left me here and I could not think of anything I wanted to talk about solo. So I was in the mood for this, not the other things that I could actually probably rant about on my own.
Yeah, it's yeah. So people, we will get more professional and we will have theme music and samples and all that good shit.
Now you're back now too.
No, I'm sorry. I had to go pee.
That was the quickest piss break ever. It seems like we were just,
It's felt like forever for me. Because you both went out. I was the only one stuck here and I couldn't think of anything to talk about.
I was trying to give you a cue where to edit, by the way, but you ruined it.
Anyways, time. Okay, we're going to edit here. Anyways. California law states affirmative consent means affirmative, conscious, and voluntary agreement to engage in sexual activity. And it's the responsibility of each person involved in the sexual activity to ensure that he or she has the affirmative consent of the others to engage in sexual activity.
Hey, it only says she. How dare you think I'm a certain gender or whatever the fuck.
So I can't rape Elliot. That's what you're saying.
Tasmania does not reference the fact that consent does not exist if the person does not say or do anything to communicate consent. In other words, in the absence of positive affirmation, there is no consent. The allegations against Ansari center on misreading nonverbal cues, with the complainant stating, "You ignored clear nonverbal cues. You kept going with advances."
Well, I can't see, so maybe a verbal cue would be the best thing to do. Unless your nonverbal cue is like slapping me in the face. I mean that's a pretty good. Oh, okay, I'll fuck off now. Unless of course being slapped in the face is your code for "let's go." I know people who are into that.
And Sari did not stop when the complainant asked him to. Well, if she asked, then that was no consent.
Yeah.
Stop. Okay.
Stop. Okay. Oh, stop.
But you're saying that like you have to. I don't understand.
I don't know.
In acquaintance sexual assaults, consent becomes a central evidentiary element required to be proven. As a former senior detective, I saw these matters often reduced to a battle of credibility between the accused and accuser. So listen and believe. I revoked consent after the fact because it sucked.
The issue is here that a lot of people tried something and were told to stop, and then continue to try something, and were still stopped.
And then you also got the other side of it where people said,
and then taken to court.
Well, if you're told stop, then at that moment, if you don't stop, then it becomes non-consensual. It's pretty damn clear cut. So
yeah,
absolutely.
So there's no nonverbal cues to read. If you just say stop it, you fucking pud. And of course, a good nonverbal cue is getting slapped across the face with a brick.
Which I'm sure many women would like to do to you. If you would like to slap Jim in the face, email him at, I don't know his email address.
Critics of the yes means yes model suggest it removes due process and impinges on the rights of the accused by changing evidentiary onus.
Wait, what?
In other words, it changes, that onus of evidence is...
No. The yes mean yes model. What?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Why is that a thing?
Because that's what this thing does.
Yeah.
Supporters of the law argue it removes the onus on the victim to show resistance to the act.
Okay.
Or the fact they said no, and address a culture of entitlement in sexual interactions.
Well, if someone says no,
so
pretty
you got to sign a contract before each time you have sex. And even that's
so I
not
guess
verified.
This is just me. I'm sorry.
You broke up real bad.
But I guess
whatever you're doing, try to do the thing where you were.
Hold on. Let me refresh.
The dingoes running the internet must be very slow in Pennsylvania tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But well, yeah, it's pretty clear cut. If someone says no, then they mean don't. Then no.
Well, there's a lot of other things that go into this, and they're trying to say that it's.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I have to tell my daughter that no matter what, she has to be on the ball, no matter anything that's going on with her, and constantly.
That's pretty much what the yes means yes model is. You always have to be on guard, and you can't fucking do that.
See, this is why
that's really scary.
That always ruins the mood.
see, this is why
that's really scary.
Why would I want to bring kids up in this environment?
No, God, no. What the fuck?
Compounding this is the need to obtain consent for each act of sexual interaction.
Oh, Jesus fucking
The premise being ask first and ask often.
Because spontaneity just does.
I mean, you want to have sex? Yes. Okay.
Most people I know.
Do you still want to have sex? Yes. Okay, I'm going to put it in. Do you still want to have sex now that my cock's in you? Yes. Okay. Do you want the second thrust now?
Eventually, she's going to say no. Eventually, she's going to say no because you keep asking.
I want to make a point here. How many times have you asked me, Jim, when your dick was in me, did you have to ask for permission to have that dick?
Eventually, like, I want to do this. No, because you keep asking. It's killing the mood. I mean, you watch these. You watch. Stupid. You watch some of these.
You tell me when you're not in the mood, but otherwise, you just let me keep going, and that usually insinuates that, like, even you at least want me to.
Then yes.
I mean,
making consent cool.
Part of me hopes that this is actually just like extreme rhetoric that, like, basically people will shut down, but maybe open to more, tolerant shit. But I don't even know anymore.
No, you got to hammer down and ask for each step. Remember, ask first and ask often.
Apparently.
I'll just stay here and raid mind control porn.
Well, fuck that shit.
That just, and then somebody would be like,
incels in the world.
For activism that happens often on YouTube and Twitter, as on the main green, foot soldiers in the consent movement are encouraging fellow classmates to ask first and ask often before engaging in sexual activity.
Jim, how many of these ask first and ask often people will actually have sex and then realize that asking repeatedly just kills the mood?
Yeah, I know. Hold on a second. I'll even look that up.
Okay, he's looking something up.
With it.
Probably looking up how to build a nuclear weapon.
People are talking about sexual consent. Would an app help?
No.
Now there's an app or two for consent.
No.
It's crucial for anyone, especially young people, to discuss what level of physical intimacy they feel comfortable with and where they want to draw the line. Okay, that part's fine. Talking about it. And they're talking about sexual assaults. Smartphone apps, We Consent and Sauce were among the first to attempt a digital solution with apps that allowed partners to check yes when they agreed to sex.
Where do we talk about where people actually understand that you cannot have sex with somebody without being slightly uncomfortable at least once? What the fuck?
Now, Legal Fling is joining the consent by click market with the added cash it of being blockchain based.
I mean, it's awesome in a way. I mean, if you ran an app company, wouldn't you try to capitalize on this and get money?
Yes,
suckers.
Absolutely, yes.
Oh god,
if I wanted to make.
I would be raking in the money.
Sure, it can be awkward to stop and talk about consent in the heat of the moment. Which is why partners rely on nonverbal cues to give and interpret it. I mean, lack of consent is usually a lot more on the verbal side. No, I don't want this. Not the
cues, how the fuck do we know it's not rape? I'm sorry.
But usually the go-ahead is given by, okay, here, I'm now helping you undress me. Oh, okay.
Incest created millennials. I said it. Okay, most of these.
A poll found of current college and recent college students found that at least 40% said undressing, getting a condom, or nodding yes establishes consent for more sexual activity. Well,
or not punching you in the face and saying "Get the fuck out of here."
Either that you were too drunk to give
Of course, some
consent.
people like that.
At the same time, at least 40% disagreed.
What?
If I'm getting naked for you, that's a clear sign I'm consenting.
If you're getting my clothes off, though, or if you're getting your clothes off, that's it. I quit. I'm gonna
Undressing, getting a condom, or nodding yes does not translate into consent.
That's it.
Jim usually gets naked before I do.
Jim, fuck it. I quit. I'm gonna do something else with my life. I'm gonna get a job at McDonald's.
With that kind of confusion, Legal Fling co-found. How is that confusing? Who the hell's making that confusing?
Absolutely.
She takes her clothes off. After I do, that's usually a sign of bang, bang, boom. She keeps her clothes on and walks out of the room. That means I just got to get my clothes on and either go back to what we were doing or go home.
Right.
Or masturbate, then leave.
Shit.
Yeah, just rub one out all over her bed.
There you go.
Wearing them on my head. Yes, it's a cult.
That's not a crime as far as I know.
It's not a crime if it's done right.
So now you got to use an Android app for consent, which is not even legally binding because she could say no after she clicked yes, and you still get in trouble.
I don't
care.
Oh. Here's the fun part. Okay. I read a lot of Reddit. And a lot of the Reddit stuff I read is about the two-party consent stuff. And oh my god, you guys really need to educate yourself about whether you live or don't live in a two-party or one-party consent state. Trust me.
I hate
you
life.
will not regret it.
I just don't care. Fuck it. I'll go celibate.
Oh, no. Elliot, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about our viewers.
Viewers, go celibate.
Jackson Prince, a Duke University junior, told me he fears the app removes any sort of need for compassionate communication with potential partner, and I don't see collegiate women feeling entirely comfortable about signing on for legal, cemented consent before fucking occurs.
Just go to Nigeria. Jim knows what I'm talking about. Oh my god. I wish I still had transcripts of the woman I was talking to who literally was like, well, if he wanted sex, I would give it to him whenever. I was like, so, yeah.
Daniel Citron, a professor of law at University of Maryland and an expert on sexual privacy, also fears that consent could be coerced. Click this or else. Okay. But the real elephant in the room is that consent can change. Consent apps do not capture any of the nuance in our interactions, and the changes in context can be dizzyingly fast.
You know the thing that sucks about this show?
Look at her covering her ass far forward.
You know what the thing that sucks about this show is that I pretty much don't hear about this stuff most of the time because, I don't, hang around with these.
Because Jim does not force them upon you.
And then I have to hear about them and realize that these people exist. I wish I missed the days when I was ignorant.
If consent changes verbally, but both partners don't update the app, they're both back to square one, a verbal agreement. Including an app in the mix could open the door to actually hurting potential victims' case if an assault occurs.
I did not give this article consent to hurt my brain. Do I have any legal recourse?
Do I have any legal recourse against that fucking stupid ass professor there who doesn't understand how consent works?
We Consent iOS requires users to take 3 steps. Partner A videos himself on a cell phone as well as the name of the person they want to have sex with. If partner B agrees to what the app calls sexual relations, they videotape their consent. Both responders are then encrypted and stored.
Seriously?
Yes, this is where we're at.
That's fucking romantic right there, buddy. That is romantic right there. I mean,
well, fuck, Jim.
Yeah.
They'll want to have sexual relations with you. Do you consent? Say yes or no.
What?
Should it become necessary to revoke consent, users must record their withdrawal of consent.
We have to have a legal contract now to have sex with people. That's absolutely on the record. What the fuck is wrong with people? What the shit? Oh.
If you use a consent app, do so to kick off a conversation with a new partner about your sexual likes, dislikes, and preferences. Remember that consent can always be revoked, whether it's taped into an app or just said verbally. Ask how your partner feels throughout various stages of intimacy. Remember, only yes means yes.
How the fuck we doing tonight?
If sexually assaulted, tell a trusted friend right away, even if you're still considering whether to report it.
You know what, Jim? I was mind raped tonight.
Jim telepathically rapes me all the time.
I telepathically rape everyone. I'm doing it now.
Oh!
That's awesome.
I'm a fan.
While such a requirement may appear awkward,
that was the best response ever.
While such a requirement may appear awkward, others argue it can be turned into enthusiastic consent, where it can be entwined with foreplay and turned into an integral part of a sexual encounter as partners banter back and forth, tease, and check with each other. Okay, I'm all for making foreplay a lot longer, but do you have to keep asking for a yes?
But Jim, as I was saying earlier, when is asking for a yes just going to kill the mood completely? Like, you asked me 50 times, you know what? Fuck it, I'm done. You know, just.
I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna say, look, if Jim diddles my clitoris, absolutely, that's consent.
Oh, that's an image I don't want in my head.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
It doesn't matter whether he puts his finger on it or his tongue. That is what's going to happen. All right. That is.
Yeah, she has removed enough garments for me to do so because it's a bitch for me to do it on my own. And we're too poor to worry about breaking up.
If people have a problem with him putting his face or his finger or whatever where that is, then
Jim does not need to be undressed. Jim needs to be dressed more. He needs to walk around with fucking hazmat suits.
Oh. Now those people need to really understand what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
I asked my criminology students what consent in sexual assault matters means. Few are able or willing to answer. Such questions are met with embarrassment, and the inevitable answer is you just know.
Jim would actually make a pretty good Darth Vader, I think.
No.
I've noticed that my classes are overwhelmingly female. There are differences as to how males and females seek and interpret consent. You're letting my hands go without breaking them. That's usually a good sign.
Don't kick me in the nuts.
I literally just said what my consent was. So
you gotta fill out 3 forms of legalese, videotape yourself, and then ask every single step and every single thrust on top of it all. That's sex in the modern age. How that's going to that is an oddly
female. I have to confirm that I'm a female and I need to be able to provide enthusiastic consent. Yeah, fuck you. I'm sorry.
I always thought enthusiastic consent was a blowjob.
Yes.
No, I'm not going to do that. Mm-mm.
But you always give me
If
blowjob.
I fucking blowjob, I will do so. Trust me.
There we go.
What
This
about people
highlights
who
that
like
not only must we focus our efforts on educating on appropriate sexual behaviors, but we must also educate those at risk as to what levels of consent they are entitled to.
Jim?
What?
You're missing the point here, which is, what about someone who's very submissive and likes someone to just take charge? Do you think they're gonna like, do you consent to this? You're supposed to take charge, motherfucker.
Ha!
Cousins petition Utah to honor their marriage.
Apparently, in California, it is actually legal.
Utah.
Which, yes, I said in California it's legal, in Utah it is not, which explains a lot, actually. And in Texas, like cousins
No,
marrying.
I want to know what. I want to know what kind of cousin.
First cousins. In Texas,
it says right here. Let me read. Should first cousins be legally allowed to marry?
No,
Depending on the state, it's legal for cousins to marry. In the state
Yes.
of Utah, however, it is not. Look at those faces.
Also
in
not
California,
in Pennsylvania.
How bad, Jim? How bad?
They look just minorly on the inbred side, not totally, but it's on the cusp.
But
They really don't look like they belong with each other.
In California, it is legal, and like I said, in Texas, first cousins marrying is like almost too distant.
For Angie and Michael Lee, they hope that the state of Utah changes the law. According to KTVX TV, the couple went to the state of Colorado to legally marry. They are hoping to have Utah honor their marriage.
Inbred. They're going to give birth to a...
No, they aren't.
They're going to
give... said that they spent...
Don't be a butt.
They're going to give birth to the next head of the Me Too movement.
No, they aren't. Don't be a butt.
The couple said that they spent 10 years apart, but were ready to reunite this winter after both becoming single. They acknowledge that their love is taboo.
They're going to give birth to the next social crusader. In case
we said okay to this. We said, okay, this is crazy, but we're adults now. We're single now. We're just going to go for it, and who cares what our family thinks?
I mean, okay, my real thing is, as long as you don't produce, you can be as inbred as you want, whatever.
Okay, listen.
It's not my thing, but...
No, Elliot, listen. I am from Kentucky, and I know that cousin love shit is totally on the ball for what I do. But here's my problem. You were talking about who live totally different culture and do not understand all that shit.
No, I understand completely, but I'm A, making jokes, and B, trying to be serious. The jokes are that millennials are the product of incest. The seriousness is do what you want. You have to get fixed.
Yeah, please don't start with incest because I am a millennial and.
Well, how else do you explain how else do you explain the last article other than cousins fucking? I mean, really.
No
one else.
Okay, well, if it makes you feel better, Pennsylvania does not recognize first cousins marrying each other.
California does, which once again explains a lot.
Oh, do they? Oh, that's so sad. I'm sorry.
That's disgusting. I mean, personally, I find it repugnant, but
no one I ever been with will make me feel as perfect as she does. Her being my cousin and some of the responses is a small price to pay.
Oh.
Someone once sent me a thing of the show and said that Jim sounds like the person who would marry his cousin.
Excellent.
I want to use my accent here, but I can't.
Well, say it. You want a damn Southern accent? Well, I'll tell you something. After my mother, who's my sister, died,
Marriage of first cousins is generally legal in 19 states. Utah allows first cousin marriage if both spouses are more over age 65 or 55 if they can prove infertility.
That's okay. I can handle that.
like I said, as long as you do something to prevent kids, do what you want. I don't care personally.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not my thing, but if you want to marry your cousin, like I said, just don't.
It's no. In their case, honestly, look. In their case, it's a.
But you know.
And then they go on about the birth
when your brother
rates.
dies. When your brother dies, somebody has to marry.
What's your take on this?
I do not care. Just don't include me.
Well, yeah,
and keep in mind, this is coming from a guy that developed that daddy's girl kink a few years back, and I don't want the real deal.
Oh, fuck you, Jim.
I don't want the real deal, but if you really want to do shit like that, like I said, just get fixed. We have enough problems with the IQ of this population already. But you know,
I just don't care what other people do. I'm not your god. Though I would like to be, and even if I was, I would not care.
God, what should we do? I care not. No, you know, it is what it is. I just really wanted to make a joke about, because you led into that so well with all the things we've been reading tonight. This is the product of first cousin marriage.
After my social justice friends dropped me for not being PC enough, conservatives took me in.
See, the conservatives dropped me for making fun of them. Because I make fun of them as much as I do the left. You know that. It's always funny because there's always a period of like, you like, Dark Fury, Ohio, brother. And I'm like, you're an idiot.
Recently, I went to have a beer with one of my friends from my former life as a social justice crusader. He's one of the few left-leaning friends I have left since I was mobbed and shamed out of my lefty social justice community for toxic behavior on Twitter.
Yay, toxic behavior is the best behavior. Everybody's doing the toxic well.
He's a great guy, and he's still friends with my old friends, so when we meet, it's a secretive thing. Dun, dun, dun.
I'm pretty sure everyone who knows me wants it to be kept secret.
As I was on my way, I started thinking about just how many people I'd lost in my life over the last year or two. It's got to be in the hundreds. You got hundreds of friends?
Who has hundreds of friends? I mean, I have hundreds of friends on Facebook. How many of those are actually my real friends? Maybe 5 people?
I mean, even in my party years, whenever I was selling drugs on my attic and I literally knew hundreds of people, I had like 6 friends.
Yeah. You know what? I'll be generous to say I have about 12 actual friends that I consider talking to, and the rest sort of come and go.
Oh, here's the fun part. I sobered up and stopped selling drugs, and I lost hundreds of people. And I didn't care about. They were just there to buy drugs. So
and now you have no friends.
Yay.
I hate you.
People who have known me for 20 years or more, who said they loved me, who took care of me and let me take care of them, are all mostly gone now.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time, and I don't care.
For many, it's a matter of their own social survival. Guilt by association is a fuck of a thing.
I mean, I even told people, how have you known me for 10 years and like stuck around? And they're like, I wish I knew.
Nobody knows.
How have you known me for almost 4 years and stuck around? That's saint behavior, man.
As I was starting to tally the people I've lost touch with, another thought occurred to me. I probably have more conservative friends than liberal friends now. For a lifelong bleeding heart liberal, this is quite the unexpected life development.
Not me. Like I said, what happens is basically, do you remember the Pathfinder thing where we set people on fire and there were people cheering us on until we set them on fire, and then everyone realized that we chose no sides? That's pretty much my social life. Once I choose no sides, everyone abandons me. But yeah,
I tweeted, since I was mobbed out of my social justice community, I found that conservatives are more kind, forgiving, open-minded people than my old crew. You haven't met some of the conservatives I have then. But keep in mind that some. Generally, though,
but like I said, I've gotten like Nazis. Like, no one ever talked about me dating a black girl, but as soon as I questioned their beliefs,
yeah.
Well, nobody. I mean, because they all, oh, that's Elliot. He's a race traitor, but he's blind, so it doesn't matter.
I found friendship and acceptance despite disagreement. Yeah, I was actually friends with people who were literal neo-Nazis.
Oh, and we disagree. I think your political beliefs are idiotic, and you think mine are idiotic.
Yeah.
And yet we are...
We have plenty to talk about aside from that. And when we do talk about that, it's like, okay, time to shit on each other. Elliot, you know the economy is a thing, right?
I'm like, yeah, but corporations, private, so. But,
yes, corporations suck because they're fucking welfare junkies.
But I also like listening to you. I don't just railroad you. Oh, Jim, you're wrong.
Exactly. Because I'll at least try to counter your points with my own, and you'll try to counter instead of shout me out. And we put actual thought into it when we feel like it. Other times it's like, nah, I don't care.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let's go get drunk.
I can't get in trouble anymore for saying so, so I'm saying so. My Twitter timeline blew up, as they say, and it was liked and shared more than 5,000 times. Yay.
I got like 100 likes on something I said, and everyone was yelling at me for saying it. Ugh. That was an annoying Christmas Eve.
Even when I was at my most...
The only thing that I ever tried to do on Twitter, yes, the only thing that I do on Twitter was to introduce for bands that didn't already have one. And just,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I get you. But, yeah, I say things on Twitter, and then I insulted because I said I didn't know any good female comedians because I didn't know any good comedians. Oh, my God.
Back when the Metalgate thing was starting up, I just started my damn Twitter account, and I kind of latched onto that.
I usually just follow racing news on it.
And then and then after I started getting into this niche, I just kind of left Twitter alone.
Yes.
I don't even really pay attention to anything on it. Who's saying, 160 characters or less, or whatever it is, 240 or whatever. I don't care.
280, I think it is now. But that's why I never tag you in Twitter. If I see any posts that would amuse you, I just sort of link them to you.
Yeah. But the whole thing there is like, how can you have a conversation with a fucking character limit?
You can't. Twitter is great to get the ball rolling, though, to get in and basically say, "Hey, contact me on Facebook." But
you have to have that one zinger. God, and then you see these people saying, "Okay, start a conversation," and then after 16 tweets, "Okay, end a conversation."
I hate those things. Yeah, because it's just. I'd rather just read.
And the conversation was more dictation than conversation.
It was one long post that was spread into different tweets because Twitter only lets you do 280 characters. So yeah, it was.
Oh, that reminds me. I gotta update the minds with
it's good. But it's good for mobile devices.
Yeah, fuck that shit. I still do most of my surfing on the computer.
Me too. I do all my surfing on the computer. Mobile devices are for people with no soul. And if you're watching this on a mobile device, guess what? That means you.
I have no soul because I also use mobile device, but it's not my preferred method. I only use it because I got a 5-minute smoke break at work.
Yes, I understand this. Do you think I care?
No.
You're still
Even
damned.
when I was at my most insufferable social justice version of myself, I had a soft spot for conservatives. My family is deeply religious, and some supported Donald Trump in the 2016 election. I was appalled by this choice. I am still not a fan of Trump, but I know that the hearts of my family members, and I know that they are good people who simply have different beliefs than me. Well, you can't have that anymore.
They have different beliefs, but I still think most of my family are morons. Just, I don't know. Just pretty much, we had a conversation about mainstream things, me and a friend, and I said, pretty much my barometer for mainstream is my family. If my family has heard of a band, they're mainstream.
Yay.
Tells you all you need to know.
When the media in my social group continually went on about how Trump supporters were fascists and white supremacists, it made me deeply uncomfortable. They were talking about my parents, my aunts, uncles, and cousins. I know these people to be tall.
I know some uncles who are white supremacists.
No one in my family really was. Hell, they all took to my ex-wife whenever I was still married.
I don't know if you'd really say white supremacists or just sort of casual racism. Like, I don't think they take it, but oh yeah, there's people in my dad's side of the family and me, my mom's side, who are pretty much bigots. They're interesting to listen to because when you listen to them, you're like, oh, this is what I should never turn into. So
I know these people to be tolerant, inclusive, and generous. They do not discriminate based on race, ethnicity, or sex.
I mean, I just want to ask people who support Trump, how could you support that thing? He's like ugly and he has a horrible voice. I can't support him. I can't support
based on his looks and voice. That's a great barometer of politics.
Oh, fuck it. I mean, whatever politics you believe in is bullshit. So yeah, looks and voice, fine. Who can I stomach for the next 4 years? So Jim, I voted for you instead of Trump. You're slightly less repulsive than Donald Trump.
They, like most conservatives these days, are LGBT friendly. I love them, and they are worthy of love and respect. When I got unpersoned, oh God, that word.
I wonder how many of them would run a mile once they figured out what I believe, though.
Oh God.
I mean, those are the ones I respect. Those are conservatives I respect. The ones like, okay, he's like a remorseless sinner and going to hell, but we'll talk to him.
Yeah, we'll show him the way by setting the example, not beating his ears because he doesn't care about that.
And he's still, and then 5 years later, oh, he's still a Satanist. Well, and then, God forbid, they actually start looking into it.
What I like is the concept of unpersoning people. That just sounds like you're trying to mutate them into something else. You just mixed them with the blue goo and gave them all the cancerous tumors everywhere. And now they're just melting apart like that guy on RoboCop.
But and also, if you want to convert people to your political stroke religious cause, which I don't care about, the best way to do is not to screech at them, but listen to them and maybe just, well, yeah, we're similar because here's what I believe. Oh, really? And maybe they'll start looking into it, maybe not, but. Yeah, really, really quick. Unpersoned. How can I be an unpersoned if I never considered myself a person?
I was self-injurious and my life was at risk. My family was there for me and they helped me get healthy again. Then I met some friends, some people who had seen what I had gone through and wanted to offer support and discussion.
See, this is the difference between me and this person. They hate it when their social life collapses. I wouldn't mind if most people, other than the couple friends I have, went away. If some of the annoying people just went away, yeah, that would be awesome.
It's just that much fewer people I have to care about.
I don't even care to begin with.
My new friends were politically conservative, so I was hesitant at first. Old prejudices die hard. But two friends in particular kept encouraging me to tell my story. They checked on me and made sure I was okay and encouraged me when I entertained a creative thought. I started anxiously writing notes to myself and
When I
organizing my
entertain
thoughts.
creative thoughts, most people say they won't last, and that encourages me. Like, oh yeah, I'll show you. I'm gonna start this show. I'm gonna keep it going for 4 years. Yeah, it won't let for years. Nah, it'll die in about a month. Who's laughing now?
Yeah, the essay was written for Quillette.
Never heard of it.
I was the mob until the mob came for me.
That's okay. Whatever. But yeah, it definitely seems like this person cares about their social life. I mean, but also I live in sort of a big, like I shop, like I go to the grocery store or whatever, and people, oh my god, it's him, and just shut up and buy my groceries.
One day, suddenly, I was accused of the very transgressions I'd called out in others. I was guilty, of course. There's no such thing as due process in this world. And once judgment has been rendered against you, the mob starts combing through your past, looking for similar transgressions that might have been missed at the time.
I'm worse now than I was then. But well, that's the other thing is he or she or whatever was very altruistic and blah blah blah. And see, I'm an outsider, and that's who I am. So I never tried to be.
I'd been making the space around me unsafe through microaggressions and macroaggressions alike. Social justice is a surveillance culture, a snitch culture. Well, that's why I say abandon polite society, come to the gutter. Because we shame people who snitch on each other.
Yeah, but they won't.
Or, at minimum, just put a bullet in their head.
People can't.
The person who actually, how do you put it? Whoever fucking authored this entire shit is an asshole.
People can't abandon polite society because they're afraid. They're afraid of even this person. What will my friends think? I'm being unperson. It's like good. I
don't have any more friends, so yay!
It's like good. I'm being unperson. I get to be an outlaw.
I get a handful of friends. Just a handful, like 6, 7. I got family, and that's all I need.
Yeah.
I don't need thousands of people clicking up buttons on me every day.
I don't want. I mean, Jim was talking about what if the show gets even bigger. I was like, oh god. I'm glad I have something because I get enough of the drama here. I'm glad I have racing as a separate world I can dive into.
Right.
I mean, we got a dozen viewers, not right now. What if it shot up to 100?
I have a ton of things that I could.
Jim, what if it shot up?
What's going on?
What if it shot up to like million levels? What would you do then?
See, I could hack that. But like you said, I would need escapes from it because it's like, oh god, I don't want this all the time. I can deal with it in doses, make an 8-hour day out of it. But
it's awesome when people ask me for music recommendation, things like that. But like I said, I have Motorsport, which is an entirely separate world where I dive into the world of loud cars and strategies, and I don't have to think about consent.
You did not consent to this. The constant vigilance on the part of my colleagues and friends did me in. That's why I'm delivering sushi and pizza. Not that I'm complaining, it's honest work and led me to rediscover how to interact with people in the real world.
Whereas you're working at a gas station, so.
Yes.
Which is, I think, one step above delivering sushi and pizza.
Study, quitting Facebook makes you less politically polarized.
Which is interesting because I'm not very polarized to begin with.
Do what now?
Quitting Facebook makes you less politically polarized.
Seriously.
There are plenty of reasons to give Facebook the boot, from privacy concerns to political manipulation.
I've been wanting to for a while. I might just concentrate on Messenger, but...
Well...
But according to a new study, there may be further benefits to quitting Facebook. Researchers from Stanford University and New York University found that deactivating Facebook helped people reduce their online activity, increase offline activities, including socializing with family and friends, and reduce political polarization.
It wouldn't reduce on offline activities because I don't know anyone cool here, and I prefer reading a book while listening to black metal. So it wouldn't. I mean, that would be what I would do if I left Facebook. But I have it on because we do a show from the fucking Messenger.
The study found a randomized sample of 2,844 users display ads, offering half of them $102, roughly the value of your data for Facebook, in return for deactivating their Facebook profiles for 4 weeks, starting right before the November 2018 midterm elections and ending shortly after.
I mean, I guess I could just do it through email. You have an email address, right?
Yeah, I do. A control group was not compensated.
Are we only considering politics here?
I would try to get more money out of them. I mean, not that that's... But
that's the course of this study, is the politics thing. I'll make this quick.
And I would basically say,
I'm sorry.
I just went to other websites like Metal Archives or,
The participants that deactivated their accounts freed up an average of 1 additional hour a day. Some users use that time to watch more TV or spend time with family and friends. But the group who deactivated was also less likely to say they follow news about politics or the president, and less able to correctly answer factual questions about recent news events.
I get all my politics from like Twitter and shit. Facebook doesn't really talk about it.
I'm barely on fucking talk.
But as far as that goes, if I, like I said, if I deactivated Facebook, I would basically just do what I do, just to, because I don't like my family and I don't have any friends around here.
Yeah.
Chase Bank shuts down Lady Alchemy creator Martina Marcota's bank account.
Asshole. I want alchemy.
Lady Alchemy creator and performance artist Martina Marcota had her bank account shut down by Chase Bank. In an interview with Big League Politics, Marcota showed them a letter where Chase Bank stated, "After a recent review of your account, we decided to end our relationship with you."
Well, screw them.
We enclosed important account information, including outlining the steps you need to take. You've received this letter as an account owner and should share the information with others listed on the account. Even though we are closing your banking and or investment accounts, any Chase auto, mortgage, or student loan lease accounts you may have with us will remain open. So in other words, you can't pay anyone, but we still want your money.
Yes. Well, welcome to the banking system.
Marcota told Big League Politics that the account was shut down by Chase Bank was associated with her Indiegogo campaign for the Lady Alchemy graphic novel, which raised $34,000.
Oh, I thought it was like alchemy, like, fucking potions and shit. That's boring.
She wrote a comic, pretty much.
I thought it was like one of those like religious weirdos that like thinks that
Martina revealed that she called Chase Bank to determine why her account was being closed. They refused to tell me why. They said they have the right to end our relationship and not tell me why.
Well, yeah, I've had people say they have the right to end the relationship and not tell me, but that's another story.
She believes the account was shut down over her politics and the fact she is a Donald Trump supporter. Markota provided us with a statement concerning her Indiegogo, noting that the crowdfunding platform is allowing her to change banks.
It's kind of awesome because in the past, if someone was an Obama supporter and this happened to them, everyone would be in uproar. But now all you have to do is support a politician in the White House, and fuck it.
And the bank closes down on you, and no one cares. They point.
I mean, I'll admit this, and Jim, you can laugh at me, but Trump's hatred, looks kind of awesome. It's just too bad I can't like the guy.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't mind being that hated, but I just can't like the guy. Oh well, I'll support Varg Vikernes. No, I can't support Varg.
My cohorts found out that I did not adhere to their ideology. The burlesque and nightlife scene are extreme SJWs and feminists, and they did everything to destroy my life and career. I was harassed and blacklisted, just like Mindy Wheeler. They ganged up on me as a group to harass the theater I worked at until they told me not to come back into work. They harassed my agent and demanded she drop me or they would refuse to work on gigs with me. They made her life generally hell for letting me work at all until she just couldn't take it anymore and dropped me. So you get kicked out of your job, you can't do any banking. What's left other than murdering everyone?
I mean, if I kicked everyone whose politics I didn't agree with off the show, I would be doing the show solo.
Yeah. Also, hey, listen.
Yes.
What if you hated everyone that you had to deal with?
I mean, it's sort of like when I listen to Christian metal bands if they're good, and I remember someone was like, "I don't listen to Christian metal band because Christian metal bands are bad." And, I don't want to listen to Christian metal bands because I don't believe in the ideology. And I said, "Well, look, Tristan. Oops, shouldn't have said the name. Oh well, you all know who it is, Jim. You know who that is."
Mm-hmm.
And that really is how he sounds, except for he's more stoned. I said, "Look, if I didn't listen to a band, if I didn't listen to a band because they disagreed with their ideology, I'd listen to maybe two bands, Dissection and Arcanum, because they have the whole anti-cosmic Satanist thing. I mean, but really, yeah, let's blackball people with who have different political beliefs. Jim, you're fired.
They created campaigns and social media movements and propaganda against me. Soon my reputation was worldwide in the industry, and I was completely blacklisted. They would contact anyone they knew I was associated with anywhere in the country and inform them to remove me and unfriend me. They contacted all my interactions on social media to inform them I was a bigot.
See this makes me want to write graphic novels just so I can tell them to fuck off.
Don't even spell incest right.
Well, this has happened to me too, where I've been like, if unfriend this person because they're a bigot and they're mean and they're hateful, I'm like, oh, sorry, we were having a conversation about black metal. What band? They unfriend me because I don't. I mean, I'll be friends with anyone as long as they keep their politics out of it. I mean.
I am currently pursuing criminal charges against a performer who has tried to solicit my information to Antifa and other left-wing media groups to defame me and put me and my family's life in danger. They love doing that.
Yes.
The people setting cars on fire and looting shops and arming themselves for the fucking grand revolution and shooting up schools because of custody debates.
I mean, and that's awesome. I mean, I'm not saying it's not awesome.
That's not political at all. It's just fucking stupid ass people doing stupid ass shit.
That's my kind of political protest. Jim, you're wrong. Set things on fire.
They refuse to leave me alone. Every step of the way, these people are relentless and angry. I left their scene, left New York City. I moved to another career, and they still follow me every step and try to sabotage my life.
Yeah, because
you live in New York.
do
You live in New York City. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
at this point, I think they want me dead, and they probably do.
Yeah, they
taking away your entire means to make money and use money.
See, this is why I just do my own thing and don't try to latch on to any sort of scene or community or anything like that, other than maybe metal, and even that's nebulous at best. Even though I do love the genre, because no.
He earned himself.
Fuck people.
Remember that Operation Choke Point thing we talked about a few episodes ago?
Yeah, they killed off LG Records. Fuck them.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what's being used here. Because, anything even remotely to the right can be considered a hate group now by various organizations.
So the left. Wait a minute. I can't resist this one. So the left, who campaigned for years. Wait, let me finish. So the left, who campaigned for years against the banksters, are now in cahoots with the banksters.
Yes.
What?
Uh-huh. Way to sell out everything.
Way to sell out all your
beliefs. Oh, fuck that.
Fuck that indeed.
Markota isn't the first public figure to have their bank account closed with Chase Bank. Enrique Tarrio, the chairman of the Proud Boys fraternal organization, and had his personal Chase account shut down at the beginning of this month. Like Markota, no reason was given, just a letter saying that by April 1st, he has to shut down his Chase accounts.
Way to sell out everything you campaigned about whenever people were bailing out, banks and things like that, and you were crying about how Obama was selling out everything that liberalism stood for because he was bailing out banks and General Motors. I remember I was there. I loved it. I love that the left was raging against Obama for basically selling out everything, and now you basically joined him.
Iraq war veteran and pro-Trump supporter Joe Biggs had his bank account at Chase Bank closed. However, Biggs would tell on One America News Network's Jack Posbiek that following a number of veterans threatening to close their Chase Bank accounts, they offered to give him a new account. Despite offering him a new account, Biggs states that he never received an explanation from Chase as to why his account was shut down, and he decided to take his business elsewhere. Good job. That's what you should be doing. Fuck Chase.
But yeah, exactly. But see, that's veterans. You can't get no one's going to care, especially comic book writers are a pretty, liberal bunch. No one's going to give a shit if Martina, whatever her name is, got fucked over.
Mm-hmm. And the Proud Boys are shit, but seriously, you're going to fucking shut them down because they say stupid shit.
Because they disagree with you politically. Well, yeah, Jim, I'm going to shut everything you are down because I disagree with you.
Well, because I can't say your fucking name.
Rather than just go on with my own business and hope that my comic outsells yours or whatever.
Other conservative media figures have faced similar deplatforming. The most well-known is probably InfoWars host Alex Jones. Make the friggin' frogs gay, frogs gay, frogs gay.
All the frogs are gay.
He was removed from multiple platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Stitcher, Apple, and others.
What the fuck is Stitcher?
It's a podcast thing.
Okay. Activist Laura Loomer also has also seen her Twitter account suspended, and she's been banned by PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
So no online transactions for you.
Oh, nice.
Uber is also banned from Lyft and Uber, so she can't even get a ride places.
This is all just going to play into their hands, and they're going to be king of the world for many, many years to come. And then you're just going to watch. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to watch as your left-wing politicians, you know, the ones who you worship like gods, suddenly become rabid Trump supporters, or not Trump supporters, but, you know, whoever's Alex Jones supporters, when Alex Jones is the next president.
I mean, people have no
get shit handed to you, and you have to just deal with it.
Yeah. What's that, Jim?
No one understands the power of martyrs. Dear God, do they lack that concept? Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing this. If they understood the power of martyrs, they wouldn't realize how they're going to land in the exact opposite world they were fighting for.
That's how Christianity got into Europe, is basically enough people died in battle as martyrs, and you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hell.
I guess we better go with the flow.
Saul of Tarsus. Saul of Tarsus, aka Paul the Apostle, held the coats of the people stoning the very first Christian martyr.
Yeah.
And he used that martyrdom as his source of guilt to propel him to write, what, 2/3 of the New Testament?
So yeah, but also, like I said, you're gonna watch your politicians, your new trailblazing liberal politicians, when they see that, you know, oh, our opportunities are gone. Well, hey, you know what? Alex Jones isn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I also literally do not care.
It is awesome that these people have no concept of martyrs or politicians. I mean, I know people who worship politicians. I know people who actually worship, you know, oh, I love, you know, that this person does everything right.
Publisher Vox Day even saw his Arkhaven Comics Indiegogo campaign for Alt Hero Q shut down by the crowdfunding platform.
And granted, Vox Day is an appalling human being. I've read quotes, and he seems like the person I would want to shove headfirst through a wood chipper.
The Lady Alchemy graphic novel is currently in demand on Indiegogo.
Although Vox Day's done the exact same thing, so you know he's done the exact same thing to award shows, basically trying to stump out all liberal content to get his conservative shit winning. So I guess he can't really complain, can he?
All right, here's some pictures of that graphic novel here. We got this stuff going on. And there's the cover. It looks like she's all doing the alchemy and sword shit. Good.
So
and dancing in front of a moon. That's great. A cyber moon.
So supported or whatever. If you like stuff like that.
Looks like they got some interesting succubi. Yay. And some more magical stuff. With the pentagram. Ooh, there's even an inverted pentagram she shoots out of. Nice.
Well, it seems a little bit, yeah. So that's cool, and hopefully she'll find a way to support and publish it before she gets bombed by fucking Antifa.
Yeah, she's probably gonna get nuked by those bastards.
And then the Nazis will come to full power.
Exactly.
And then watches everyone, all the politicians convert to Nazism.
You guys aren't giving me much here to argue.
Well, I have no faith in.
I'm sorry.
What happened?
I'm sorry. You guys aren't giving me much here to argue. The shit that you posted there.
I have no faith in humanity.
Insensitive.
Yeah.
Interesting mouse girl.
Mud.
I like it.
Well, if Jim likes it, then it sucks. No, but like I said, it's bullshit.
Yeah, that's all I got here.
Hopefully, people will see the error of their ways, or we'll have the far, far, far right in power. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. This has been the Swine Brothers Show episode 168 for March 7th, I think, 2019. You can email us at cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com. Facebook is Swine Brothers. And Twitter is SwineBro666. For Danamon, for Jim, who's fired, but he'll be back next time somehow. I'm Elliot. I'll see you later.
Guns, opioids, meth, incest, illiteracy. Go, Captain Florida.